What?
Hello and welcome to Tuesday night's live stream. I am David with Philippine American couple. My lovely co-host and wife is sitting on the floor playing with the dogs. Oh, geez, we got a exciting topic for you. I hope tonight I want to talk a lot about what do you do if you get in trouble overseas, mainly the Philippines, but this pertains a lot to other countries and other places. So that's going to be kind of our topic. Everybody's welcome to chime in and ask questions and give their answer to the question while my wife is being extremely noisy with the dogs. But that's okay. It is Tuesday, March the 14th, approximately 5:30 p.m., 50 degrees outside, a nice balmy 75 degrees here in the house. Weather has been sunny today. I got a feeling it's supposed to get cold and rainy down here again tomorrow and the next day. So before we get into our topic tonight, make sure you like, subscribe, share, and give us a thumbs up. And make sure you shout out this live stream for me if you would. So it's going to be a great topic, an interesting topic. I hope that we all kind of learn something tonight. If you're single, I would recommend you stay that way. Because as you can hear the wife in the background causing all kinds of trouble. With the dogs. So if I can get her to calm down, we might be able to proceed with tonight's adventure. So hang on, let me get my wife controlled. All right. So let's see. The Yank is in the bullpen. Let's say hi to it's Lissy's Corner. Hey, we appreciate you. We'd love to have your input tonight. If you're welcome to join us in the panel. Carla, come on. Here, this is what I deal with. Can you say it or is it too blurry? See, she's a troublemaker. All right. You can grab a chair and join and be normal. So,
I'm just alright.
okay. John, good to see you. He's watching from Sam's Club in Bakersfield, California. And our good friend Kiko up in the land of the Yankees. He says it's 11 degrees with wind. So let's invite Mr. Yank up to the panel. And now that my wife is behaving somewhat, she's going to go get something to eat. And maybe we can.
Behaving?
Yeah.
It sounds like she needs a straitjacket.
I know, her and the dogs, right? Every time she comes home, which is good, they have a little bond. She gives them a doggy treat. And tortures them. So today she chose to do it right next to me while I'm doing this. So,
yeah, right.
So how's the snowstorm up where you're at?
Some of it melted. We'll get some rain tomorrow. Maybe a little more snow.
Oops.
But that was kind of a pain in the neck, shoveling or snow blowing that heavy stuff.
Yeah, that's why we don't do it down here in the south.
We had a couple. We were predicted to get another freaking 4+ inches, and that never happened. Wow. The little bit that we got melted on contact. So.
Did you say hi to it's Lissy's Corner and Mr. John and Mr. Kiko there?
No, I didn't.
Why not?
Why? Hello.
There you go. There you go. You guys say hello, 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 hello.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's exciting. I'm telling you, I got some really good stuff coming up here for some live streams. I'm gonna interview somebody who's going through the K1 visa process right now down the road here, and
Hmm.
some other things. But I thought tonight we talk about getting in trouble in the Philippines,
Don't.
or what do you do when you get in trouble?
You run.
Well, yeah, that's part of it.
Uh,
So, oh yeah, we saw that, John. That Silicon Valley Bank got shut down. There's two banks that have closed in the last week, is what I saw. Two banks.
those banks affect the economy of this country. Usually, like Lincoln did years ago. Thinking Lincoln State Bank, but old Joe, they'll blame it on being senile, but he bailed us out on that one.
Well, they'll just blame it on the past administration. Say it's really whoever. It doesn't matter who's in office. It's always the other guy's fault.
Well, they've been throwing money at this economy left and right. They're gonna end up paying the price. And I could have swore I heard him say that all these job creations are going to have a negative effect on the economy.
Well, I don't disagree. I don't know for sure, but
Well,
you
because
know,
I heard once it takes to create a $50,000 a year job was like $1 million, something like that.
yeah. Oh, by the way, these are the glasses I chose. If you guys haven't,
They don't
uh,
look a whole lot different than the other ones.
I know, but look at here. I'm styling.
You got a bigger frame there, huh? So that's what I gotta have.
You like those? You know?
Also, go to close up so we can see them. They're tinted, right?
No, I didn't get them tinted.
Oh, why not?
I don't like that.
Well, I couldn't stand it without it.
Yeah, I don't
I
like them
mean,
tinted. So these are the new glasses. I got a video I'm going to do about these because what I paid and what you can pay online is shocking. So, but
well,
let's say
when I
hold to
did,
Mr. 45. Bitcoin popped after Biden announced Sunday. Yeah, Bitcoin has been on its way out for a while.
I told you know what I told
I mean, good to
I,
see you.
I told this other guy on here. I said they're going to come on with this stuff. They're going to make a ton of cash, and then when the government, when all those rich guys have gotten their hands on it and bought and sold it, then they're going to get rid of it because it doesn't matter whether it's paper or digital. It's going to be,
That's right.
they're yeah. We just you can't. Uh, that was to me that was personally designed by those guys to make a ton of cash, and
That's
then
it.
when it was going to be regulated and all this other shit, now they're going to get rid of it.
Timmy, appreciate the thumbs up. We appreciate everybody sharing us out. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, hit that alert bell, all that good stuff that gets us traction in the world of the land of YouTube. You know, what's John saying? John's complaining. John, you bought a big bottle of California champagne.
Yeah, no,
California champagne. I wonder with John if that's a metaphor for something else, or did he really
gotta be,
bottle of
gotta
California?
be knowing him.
You know, I personally don't like champagne, but
Nah,
I encourage everybody to drink it because it's good for their.
I can't do the wine thing with the acid.
Yeah.
They got Barrett's esophagus. That's death
Well,
to me.
now I know we're off topic a tiny bit, but we'll get back on topic. But I'll just throw out a shout out for a wine called Stella Rose.
Or
Um, it's only $10 a bottle, so it's cheap wine. You buy it at Walmart, anywhere, everywhere.
yeah, I've had it.
Yeah, but it's one of the wines that everybody seems to like,
Very
and
sugary.
you literally can take the bottle. I can anyway. Most people, you can take a whole bottle of it and sit here and drink it like it's Kool Aid, and
Yeah,
drink 3 bottles of it, and it's good stuff.
yeah. I tried a little bit of that.
So that's
Uh,
what we had a lot over the Laura. Oh, by the way, Lorelai's birthday was here. So
pick
you
and
guys saw
save
the videos
stores.
on that, I'm sure. Or if you didn't, go back
Yeah, a
and
little bit.
yeah, and see our chaotic video party videos. So
That's right, Timmy. That's what that is.
Timmy,
That
man,
that
I agree with you. Bitcoin is
see
exactly that. Is a smart way
that
of scamming stupid people who believe
them
that.
dudes found a way to hide their money for a while so they can make a ton more without paying tax. And you can only do that for so long because Joe until Joe Average realizes what's going on.
They
So
came up with an imaginary form of currency,
paper's king.
and
It always will be king.
they got idiots to give them real money for fake currency. Is what they did.
That's all. That's the best tax shelter you could have. You throw $1 million in a digital currency. You can't tax digital currency. Well, you couldn't. It,
Now the only problem is when you throw it in there and then it all of a sudden disappears.
well,
Goes.
that happens with the greedy, like that young guy that had his. He made his CEO some dork from college. Friend. He made her to see. She didn't know what the hell she was doing, but they found a little more of that money and got it back. But a lot of people got stiffed on it.
No, it is crazy. It is absolutely bonkers and crazy.
Yeah.
But so
Well, that was designed for them, man, not us. And once
yeah,
it was coming down to us, you know, then they don't mind robbing you.
us poor people can't do a whole lot about it. So you know how that is.
No,
I mean, I know you rich Yankees up north there have all the money and gold, but us poor people in the South. So
I didn't build a $500,000 house.
Timmy says it's like a kid playing Roblox and
Hmm.
earn coins. Yeah, Robux. I don't know what that is to be honest. Another Robux.
It's a gambling thing. The crypto is. It's that, that
Yeah, yeah,
that's all it is.
yeah. No, I agree with that. It's just a big old scam.
What were they backing? What were they backing that with? Silver, not
Nothing.
gold.
Nothing.
Nothing.
It was like it was all imaginary.
Well, if unless you're going to back it with sterling silver or something, it holds it increases in value.
Mhm.
You're an idiot. I'm sorry, but whoever threw $1 million, I think the quarterback up here about $12 million worth of that shit. Of course,
Yeah.
he can afford to let it go. He's about to go to the Jets here pretty soon, but
Well, let me say this, and then we're going to get on topic because this was in the news. That there's a couple things in the news today. One, I think we all got to start paying attention to China really close because I know there's a lot of drama happening in the Philippine Sea with China, and the United States will be getting involved. There's going to be a whole lot more going on with that. On the
oh,
other funny thing was um, Michael Irwin, what do you
sure.
say?
Michael Irvin.
Will now become a millionaire by 100 times because of what's out in the news today. That is one. I don't know how much money he's worth, but I promise you, he's going to be worth 50 to $100 million more than he was a couple of weeks ago at the Super Bowl. Because if you haven't followed that, I guess he was staying at a Marriott, and they have a contract with the NFL, blah blah blah, and HBO and ESPN. And the
Mhm.
rule is that if one of these employees that stay at the Marriott behaves badly, they're supposed to report it. So apparently they reported that he sexually harassed somebody at the Marriott. Well, Michael
Irvin. I'd
Irvin,
be in, I'd be in prison forever if I ever got called on that.
well, and look, he's not a dummy, but he from day one was saying what, because they took him off the Super Bowl, so he lost his job. They kind of
Mhm.
fired him, suspended him, sent him home. Lost his job, right? So the tape finally, his team, his lawyers finally in Texas made the Marriott cough up the video. And the video shows nothing like a sexual harassment in any way, shape, or form. So, and they've been stalling and stalling for weeks. So if you follow this at all, it's going to be really interesting. But you give him a couple months, and he's going to be have an extra 100 million bucks in his bank.
Yeah, I don't pay anything. You know, I first got cable in the beginning to watch Sports Center, and that's become uh, more gossipy than the 10 o'clock regular news. I could care less what a person does with their private life. It's
Well,
none of
what
my business.
what got me about this was, especially, and you might relate to this, and I can relate to this, having some cognitive disorders, is he
Mm.
was talking about, look, I played hard in the NFL. I have suffered numerous concussions. I am worried about CTS, which I don't know exactly what that stands for.
The scan of the brain.
Well, no, it's a disorder that the athletes are getting. It's like concussion something
Yeah,
syndrome.
cognitive, or,
I, I don't know exactly what it means,
yeah.
but what he said was, as I played football hard, and
Mm.
I worry about this condition every day. So when they call me out of the blue and say that you got to go home because you did something wrong, and I asked them to tell me what I did wrong, because he's like, did am I going crazy? Am I losing my mind? Is these
Mm.
concussions finally getting to me? Did I really do something that I don't know that I did? And they won't tell me what I did, but they're going to fire me and
I've
send me
been bad.
you know. So, in his brain, and I get it, he's sitting there going, holy shit, did I do something wrong? I don't know what I did. What do you mean? But nobody would tell him. So he had to go through a couple of weeks of suffering, unknowing whether he did or didn't
Yeah,
do what
yeah,
he
yeah.
did. So
Civil rights issue too, with all of that stuff, because
that's a good mess.
they can't just well, whenever, especially because he's black, but they cannot, put all those accusations on you without the proof.
Well, and what it looks like, to be honest, is the lady, the girl, whoever who claimed this, she went out of her way to introduce herself to this famous star, whoever,
Mm.
and they had a very cordial conversation. Shook hands. Nothing on the video. You can see it, but you can see that the bar manager, she was a waitress, I guess, is pissed off because this girl is talking to him versus working, or he's not getting to talk to him or something. But her boss is all pissy in the background and takes her in the back room and is yelling at her as they go in the back room on video. You can see this. You can't make out what they're saying, but
Well, the
she's
person's a
obviously in
worker.
a lot of trouble. The
Mm.
next day, she files a report that he sexually harassed, and they all heard it and saw it, except for the fact there was two white guys sitting at the bar right next to when it all happened and said, sorry, nothing like that happened.
So the three employees, the manager and two employees said that something happened.
Well, yeah, Marriott said something happened. Marriott said, you got to watch it. It's all over YouTube. But they
Well,
said
no,
they
I'll
said
take your word for it.
horrible things. Or
Mm.
they said that Michael did horrible things and said horrible things. And it's going to be proven out that
Well,
that
yeah,
happened.
you got the video. Show me, man.
Well,
If you
that's
don't, then you
yeah.
know what, people got to learn when they make false accusations, or mentioning that he wanted to get some goodie bag or something. They they uh, they in turn, when this is found out and if this all plays out the way it should, they in turn should lose their jobs and some money too. You can't just make accusations nowadays. The hell, and then I got to prove my innocence because I'm the guy with the money, and
That's
nothing
right.
happens to these other folks.
Well, and I got a feeling that that these people have already lost their jobs, and I got a feeling that now that
But
the federal judge out of Texas made Marriott release the tape.
so the
So
manager, what the manager was pissed at the employee because one, she wasn't working, and for another, she's talking,
yeah.
getting all
Well,
chummy with Michael Irvin.
you can see him over in the background, getting all pissed at her and pointing at her and stuff like that, motioning like, why aren't you, you can see it all on tape. So I don't know if she fabricated the story so that she wouldn't get fired the next day.
They kind of once this incident happened here in Milwaukee, Charles Barkley was out drinking after a game. I forget who he was playing with, but there was a bar right across the street from the where the arena where they were playing at the time, and some guy went out of his way to try to get some money, and he picked a fight with them. And ever since then, those guys don't do that no more.
Uh,
Hey,
so
Viking.
Mr. 45 is saying the horrible thing is the manager beating the employee. Absolutely. Oh, Timmy mentioned before, though, war over sovereignty happens way, way back before. It is, Timmy, but I'm really actually worried now that I think we're going to, since our president is a little loopy, China is definitely going to be pushing the Philippines and Taiwan, and they're going to see if anything happens if we stand up. What? So horrible thing, Manner. John was up there for a second. Viking, good to see you. Thank you for
Well,
being
here it is. I got this little news
hello.
thing.
Everybody say hello.
Since I got Windows 11 here, and I got an article in here with Michael Irvin releases security footage.
Yeah, that's it. It's all
Claims proves innocence in sexual misconduct.
yeah.
You know what, man? You could do that with any guy in America, man. A girl gets sweet on you, so you start talking smack.
Well, they're standing out in the main hallway of the Marriott in the front lobby, and there's,
Mhm.
I mean,
This is what the manager's probably pissed because he probably knew something like this would come. Something would happen like this.
well, but it's sad that the NFL and HBO and ESPN all said, okay, well, we're going to send him home and not, we're going to
Well,
take.
they probably just gave him an excuse with pay till pending investigation.
Well, yeah, but still,
I could, I
let's invite John.
wasn't there. I could care less.
John, how are you?
Hello.
Hey, Johnny Wad.
Yeah. Johnny on the spot.
Yeah, Johnny
The G
Appleseed.
spot.
Johnny Appleseed. Yeah,
How are things out in California? Is it raining?
getting ready to.
It's raining.
How's everything in Bakersfield?
Uh, it's I don't know. There's a lot of people driving around.
Well, I mean, you didn't have any effects of that flooding, right? You're a little more way east of that.
I think that's a buzzard eating roadkill.
Uh-oh.
Ah. So we're going to talk a little bit about what to do if you get in trouble in the Philippines, because I found some of this
Pray.
very interesting. And what I want to do tonight is kind of start off with the basics. So, in doing some research, I'm going to just share some websites and we'll go through this. But let me pull one up here for us. So bear with me. Minimize this. I got to add this. I got to come over and do this. Why don't we talk a little bit about, for people that don't know, because remember, this is an educational process, what an embassy is. Well, if I can get there.
Uh-oh.
Imbecile.
Imbecile. Yeah, there you go. Oh my gosh. How was Bakersfield affected by that flooding, John?
No, I don't have. We don't have any flooding in town, but maybe up in the hills and the mountains.
Well, you're way east of all that, L.A. and all that, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you'll be fine. They tried to section that off, man. They tried to create what, 3 more states?
I don't even know.
Well, somebody. It was
All right, so let's guys, let's talk about what an embassy is. Does anybody know what the function and what an embassy actually does? Whoops.
Government paperwork.
Government paperwork. Because I've talked to a couple of people who are getting ready to go to the Philippines, and a couple that are getting ready to go to Thailand, and they actually brought up this topic. What do you think I ought to do if I get in trouble? And that's a huge subject, right?
Don't get in trouble.
Don't get in trouble, but the fact that they got to think about this. But so I told him, I said, well, what we need to do is understand what an embassy, because one of the questions that came up that I found interesting that I was asked, are the embassies really like you see on TV, where you can run up to the gate going, I'm an American, let me in and save me, that's, and I literally had to answer, I don't have a clue if that's the way it is or not. So I thought I would figure it out. So an embassy is the official headquarters for the U.S. diplomats and government representatives serving in the foreign country. So embassies are generally led by an ambassador who is the president and representative to the host country. So they represent the crazy drunken guy. An embassy is usually located in the country's capital city, but may have branches known as consulates in other cities. And this is one thing I've been asked over the years is there, what's the difference between a consulate and an embassy? Well, the embassy is above the consulate. And like it says here, you can have branches. And I know we have a consulate in Cebu and the embassy in Manila in the Philippines.
Probably a little bit of a smaller facility, but an extension of the embassy.
Yeah, I actually think it's over in like a hotel or something. I think it used to be in the waterfront hotel. The consulate did. They're in waterfront. Waterfront hotel. So it can have many buildings, many locations. The U.S. Consulates abroad as well as foreign countries. The really interesting part about this, and look, and I've got these websites in here. If you really want to know every detail about this, just go through. But they talk about the leadership of what the ambassador is supposed to do, what he doesn't do, his functions, the functions of the embassy. And this is something I want to touch on, and I am going to touch on here. The primary purpose of an embassy is to assist the American citizens who travel or live in the host country. U.S. Foreign Services officers also carry out duties related to advancing U.S. interests abroad. So the real question comes, from everything I could find out today, you literally can run up and say, I'm an American, let me in. Now, currently, a lot of the embassies worldwide, because of COVID, aren't allowing walk-ins. You got to have an appointment. So I don't know quite how that works in this modern COVID world, but theoretically, yes. If you get in trouble, you can go. So that's kind of what the overall picture of an embassy is. And we're going to touch on some more here. Let me get out of this stuff. Woo-hoo, where did you go? So what do we think about that? Anybody have a thought?
No.
No? So that's an embassy. Let's see. Tony is familiar with the Pinoy consulate in Chicago. Yeah. We are very, very familiar with the one in Houston, Texas. We've been there 3 times, I think.
I'm surprised they let you go there, man.
What do you mean?
Because I was in Chicago and there was a farmer guy in there from Arkansas. And he had to come up to Chicago.
Well, Houston's ours for whatever reason. Houston were, but then again, if I understood it right, when we were doing all of our paperwork, we could technically file in Los Angeles if we wanted to go to Los Angeles all the time.
Well, most countries, Timmy, the ones that have diplomatic ties, but some don't.
Right. There are a few countries we do not have. And what I was researching today found we didn't have an ambassador to the Philippines um, 2 years prior to the new president coming in. So when the term from the previous ambassador to the Philippines expired, Duterte didn't allow another one in. So now that Marcos is in, our relationship with the Philippines is changing greatly, and it's changing rapidly. And we're talking about from military to political alliances and business. Everything is going to start to ramp up and change between the Philippines and the United States in a good way. In a good way.
I think they have an Air Force base sort of, very tip of northern Luzon.
Yeah, we're going to have 9 locations total under the new decree from February. Nine military locations throughout the Philippines. So Timmy is saying every country has an embassy in another country to serve the people processing their papers, legal documents, and assist the welfare and other stuff. Absolutely. Now, what I learned today was there may be an embassy in every country except for North Korea and places like that. But sometimes there's really nobody there. If it's a hostile environment, we don't really have much of a presence there. We may have a technical building, but there's not a lot of people there. So I found that interesting. I don't know about you guys, but I found it interesting. All right, let's do this. I'm going to share with you what an embassy or a consulate can do for you, what they can and cannot do. Because I think this is important for, people who are new to traveling to kind of understand what the resources are. And I know it's going to be hard for some of you guys to see this.
Google them.
Well, it's right here. I got it right here for you, man. I did all the work for you.
It's small. I can't see that.
Well, it's because you're blind and you're old.
Yeah, both of them.
Any better?
Yeah, a little bit.
All right. So when you get in trouble overseas, don't call Tony.
Yeah.
Many travelers first call the U.S. Embassy whether they need money, legal help, or emergency evacuation. But embassies can't resolve every problem in every encounter. So it's something to keep in mind. There are different agencies and groups, I won't say agencies, but programs that can help travelers. But here's what the U.S. Embassy can do, only in certain circumstances, because we looked into this after Typhoon Odette hit a little bit. And so the embassy may help citizens with an emergency evacuation of major crises, such as natural disasters, civil unrest. The Department of State says that it may provide citizens with travel warnings and advice, of course. We all know that. There are no commercial transportation options, planes, trains, ferries, so forth, available. And if we have a consular office at the embassy or consulate, and if the conditions permit, we may help U.S. citizens seeking to depart by work most government.
If I get in trouble, I will look for Claude Van Damme.
That's right. So what they're telling us is, look, we can help you, but you still got to work within the confines of the government, unless it's going to be in a government unrest. So if Taiwan all of a sudden overthrows their government and they kick all of the Americans out, that's a different story. But for the most part, they can work with you, help you book things, but they're not going to have a private plane sitting on the tarmac for Americans to get on and to fly back because I have a heart issue. Not going to happen. So let's keep that in mind. Can they help with medical issues? Yes, but it's very, very limited. Like I just said, they're not going to be able to do that. Stolen and lost passports? Absolutely. This is where Timmy's talking about. They really come into play. They can help you with the documentation, which is great. Can the U.S. Embassy help me if I'm the victim of a crime? Absolutely. If you're assaulted, beaten, whatever, yes. They can help you attain lawyers and medical care and try to seek justice, but we know how that is. Can the U.S. Embassy help me if I get in trouble with the law?
Somebody put a house on my wife's lot in the Philippines.
Uh-oh.
And what did
Yeah.
they? Yeah, and so they lose their house, right? They lose the building that they put it on.
They don't own the. It was my wife's lot, and they
Right.
have property next to us, but somebody built a house and sold it to the foreigner, and it's on my wife's property.
Well, he's out of money then.
And he's out of the money he paid to build the structure.
He got screwed.
We
So,
got a lawyer the second day we found out.
Yeah,
yeah,
that guy got had, and ain't nothing he can do to get that money back.
and that's where exactly you get a local attorney to handle it. They lose their money and the structure they build on. Same thing in the United States. If somebody built property or tried to build a house on my land, it'd be the same thing. You know,
Tear it down.
Yeah, he never did a survey.
of
Oh
course,
boy.
right. If he would have known better, right?
See,
He wanted to buy some property next door, and then he did a survey and found out the house he had was on my wife's land.
oh,
So our U.S. embassies are not going to get in the middle of those type of disputes, but they're going to help you find somebody that can help you. The local attorneys. That's
So
the extent of what they're going to be able to
you're
do.
nut. You, if you got another lifetime to live over there, because they'll milk that for every centavos they can.
hey John, make sure you send him a thank you note for the house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna build a wall around it and say write thank you on it.
My
Tell him
I
you want to change the curtains though, because you don't like them.
my wife has me and her have 545 square meters, and if uh, if that was something was sitting on it or whatever, it's got to go.
Yeah. Timmy is going what? And she either has a question or is making a statement.
Nah, Kiko made a silly statement there. So
Did you know for Tony?
eh,
I just nominated Tony. You said they didn't have an ambassador for a while,
They
yeah,
did.
so
They do
Tony
now.
could use Tony could use a little bump in pay right now.
That's
yeah,
right.
So
But
yeah.
the new ambassador, is in place. So Tony's out of a job.
it's
Yeah.
fun. It's fun having parties with the Marines at the embassy. The Marine Guards did
Yeah.
that a couple of times,
Yeah.
That's right, Jimmy. It's what you call land grabbing.
and the embassy had a commissary. But I guess we were allowed to shop that because we were active duty military.
Yeah.
My sergeant sent me to the help. God, I forget what they call the place. It's like a supply store. He says, keep your personal purchases to a minimum. I thought, what do you mean? Because everybody buys something from them.
Tony, take your microphone out of your pocket.
Out of my pocket.
Tell him, John.
That ain't me.
Not me either.
That ain't me. How about just turn up your volume?
Oh, that's road noise. That's all.
Yeah, it's road noise.
That's California traffic.
Oh, I'm not driving the truck.
Wow.
The bus.
You've
Just
been hitting
in case you guys don't know, here's what the homepage looks like. If
been
you
dipping in the sauce, Kiko?
Only
blow it up
the
super
Italian
big.
stuff.
So Tony can see that, but this is their homepage to the U.S. Embassy in the Philippines. It's what it looks like.
Oh, I don't see any Americans there.
Well,
Did you get any assistance when you went through the typhoon?
no, not at all. Not at all.
He was cowering in the corner.
And so what I do like is they got a section down here of these pop-up menus. If you need a passport, if you need the visa, emergency assistance. So the website.
Before I build mine, I'm having the land surveyed again.
So no, and you should definitely. But the good thing is You have all these little options that you can use on their websites. I think that's a great function for people. All right, let me. Now, one of the topics I think is that you guys will really like, which is next. And this is going to be one of my favorites. So let me get out of this thing
Next.
and get us back up here to a good topic.
There you go.
Let me close out some things. We're going to talk about, I think, one of the funnest things to talk about when it comes in trouble to getting in trouble in the Philippines.
Birthday parties.
What? Birthday parties? Are you crazy? Well,
Naked women.
and before we get to this, let's talk. And since you guys have all kind of know this, I did a little research today, trying to figure out who's more than likely to get in trouble in the Philippines. And there's really no data that I can find from the Philippine government anywhere. But one thing I think is probably clear: the single men who are there just to party are more than likely to get themselves into trouble versus married guys with kids who want to go just live a quiet life.
How
So,
about maybe the guys that are already in trouble from their home country, and that's why they're in the
You
Philippines to get away from
know,
it.
yeah, they would find them out that way.
well, and that's where we're going with this. Because what we're going to talk a little bit about here is about the visa to get into the Philippines and the background check. And if you stay more than 90 days, you've got to get an NBI clearance to get out of the country. So therefore, if there's any charges pending,
it's 6 months because I left a day before 6 months was up, and I did not have to do that.
well, the government, the webpage says 90 days.
I'm telling you, I went through it.
Good
Well,
thing, Tony, huh? You were probably sweating it, huh?
I got there in January and I left June 1st.
well, I didn't have to go through it either.
Well,
But
you know what the MBI clearance is? Is the clearances were done right at that what do you call it? Philippine. Oh shit! I can't even think of the name of that. What is that?
the airlines,
No, man. What is it? It's man.
Consulate, immigration.
Immigration.
There you go.
Yeah, because I asked the lady. I said, "Where would you have this done? Where would you have this clearance thing done?" And they got a computer there. They run your name,
that's
but
right.
they also do the for the healthcare.
That's right.
So
So you got
because
to.
I asked her about that, David. I asked her about the 6 months. She says because I came there, uh, my first day there was the 11th or something like that.
Right.
So I left. Yeah.
I didn't have to go through it either, but what I'm telling you is their website says 90 days. Now, whether they choose to do it or not, that's a different story.
That could they don't really
But that's the official is 90 days.
yeah, they don't update that right.
They are getting better, and this is what I've told some guys over the time that because what we're going to talk about is the blacklist. And I got
Oh,
on the blacklist, and it's the way the world is going that if you commit a crime in America, and a lot of people escape and go to other countries because they think, oh, nobody's going to catch me because I molested that 8-year-old and I got arrested. But while I was on bond, I fled the country before I was convicted and had my passport taken. Well, the way things are going now, that follows people. Those warrants are international.
mhm.
So they are doing a better job. And that's part of what I was saying, guys. Not if you guys have this problem, but now with the two governments working better together, they're going to be catching a whole lot more people not be entering the Philippines.
They do that with driver's licenses because I got a ticket in
Right.
Indiana, and the guy and I said, he says, "Well, you gonna pay it?" I said, "Yeah, I'll pay that when I get home." He goes, "You promise?" I'm like, "Of course." But he said that it used to be where as long as you didn't come back through that state, you wouldn't have a problem. But
Yes.
now it'll follow you back to your home state.
Yeah, there's no, today's modern technology, Yeah, it's easier to collect the money from you or go after you because all they got to do is get in junction with another state and say, "Can you put a lien on his license?" You know, so when
That
you go to
that
the license,
that that only works if you play by the rules. If you come here with a different name or some assumed name, you're undocumented. So
that's
there's
true.
no way. It's only for people that play by the rules, that have a valid social security number, a valid name, a valid home of record. But that we know that there's a lot of people that doesn't exist, and
Absolutely.
they can just keep flying under the radar, and
We had a
everybody that
guy.
pays by the rules pays for them.
We had a guy that was a very nice. Well, he was to me. A lot of other. He came in and got a job by us. Super nice dude. He said he's from California. Turns out, like 2 months later, the guy was working under his brother's name because he was wanted for murder in
Yeah,
California.
he's an axe murderer. Yeah,
Well, he killed his wife, I guess, but you'd have never talking to him, man. Guy was cool as anybody, you know, festive, not nervous or nothing like that.
Let's see if you guys see this information about the blacklist.
Let's
Let me blow it up for you.
let me get my magnifying glass.
You're probably on a. Let's say now you maybe messed up.
Oh my gosh.
Hopefully it's still there.
I'm gonna run inside the house and say, "Honey, I'm home."
Honey, I'm home. I don't know why I'm home, but I'm
don't
home.
don't trip and fall when you run, John.
Yeah, I'll break my boner. I'm so bad.
Land on the tripod.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Bam. I got 40 solar panels on my house.
Well, that'll keep you in sunlight.
Wow, keeping your electricity bill down.
1 month it was like $3 for a 5 bedroom.
That's good.
They're
Now,
420.
John, do you have air conditioning there, or do you have swamp coolers, or what do you do?
I think you call it. It's like central air. It's heating and cooling.
Yeah, right. I just knew I had a friend up in between San Francisco and Sacramento, Fairfield, and they had swamp coolers. They didn't even have an air conditioning because there was no humidity there.
I
And
just had one of those things replaced too, and it's like 26,000.
$26,000
Yeah,
for an air conditioner.
for, one of those big old things they put outside that heats and cools
Right,
your house. But
right.
they put the heater upstairs in the attic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's what we have in this part of the country. Our heaters are in the attic.
Or the garage. Florida, I put them in the garage sometimes. Water heaters.
All right, let me pull up some blacklist stuff. Let's talk about who can be blacklisted.
Just
Can Tony be blacklisted?
Nope.
Are you sure?
I'm a saint.
Don't talk about his record.
No sticky fingers there.
I'll be in the background.
Wait.
Friend.
We got green grass, man.
Where's the high tides?
Green grass and high tides forever. Not the outlaws or just the other one? Molly Hatchet.
Molly Hatchet.
Hey, no, Glenn Campbell's buried in Arkansas.
Wow, really?
From some little town, yeah. He's this guy that puts videos out on YouTube here. Goes to different, explains the history of the the city or the county. He came from a very, very small town.
You
But
know,
there's a motion sensor, and when you walk past his headstone, it starts playing music,
oh God,
his music.
Well, what kind of music is it?
Glenn Campbell, country.
that's crazy.
I
Really?
know.
Where's this at? Where's he buried?
I forget that where he next town over from where he grew up.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. Which
I
I don't
can't
know where he
remember.
grew up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
So
I think
his
there's like
actual his grave, it plays music.
it must be in the
yeah.
head or something, or some
I
kind of
wonder
on the outside.
which song, or it plays a
I
medley of
don't
them.
know, man. Guy just was doing his video and he walked through a certain area and it started playing and he walked
Wow.
back out. I guess the town he was from had
Did you ever
man,
did you ever see his
900.
did you ever see his daughter on YouTube? I forget what her first name is,
No,
but
I
she
think
did
900.
a tribute song to him. Really, really talented. She plays, like
Yeah, they went out on.
guitar and stuff. And
He knew he was had Alzheimer's, so
right,
he went on tour with the family there mostly,
right.
and he
Yeah, I saw that video. That hit close to home because my dad had it too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
it was something. Yeah,
So let's
and
look
he
at the Commonwealth Act 613. So this is actually an act in the Philippine laws about the blacklist. A lot of people don't think, from what I've talked to over the years, don't think it's actually a real thing. That is just kind of a, like you get on the no-fly list in America
Mm-hmm.
type of thing. But it's actually a real legal process. And what they look for is sex offenders, of course, and sadly, we have a lot of those issues going back and forth. Violators of the Philippine laws, and of course, criminal convictions, undocumented. And one thing I really found interesting is supporters of subversive acts. So if you're one of the ones who are not a Philippine citizen and you're running your mouth about how shitty the country is, or how bad the president is when you're there, you're one of the ones that can be put on the blacklist and asked not to come back, or you can be banned for different lengths of time. The one thing, because I talked to one person, only one person, who openly admitted that they were blacklisted. I talked to him a couple of years ago, and he didn't tell me why, but I think he was a sex offender personally. So foreigners who are not aware that they're on the blacklist but have committed one of these offenses mentioned above will be banned. So, and this is kind of part of where the NBI comes back in. If they run you through the NBI again and you're found to be, somebody who should be on the blacklist or who are on the blacklist, then you can be booted out. The other thing I talked to somebody to the other day was he's been in the Philippines for 5 years and he's undocumented. And now he wants to leave the country. So, what do you think the Philippine government is saying about him?
Not until you pay us.
That's
how
it.
did he get in if he was undocumented?
No, he was legal to get in. He just didn't renew. So he's overstayed.
Yeah, well, that's not undocumented. Then that's an overstay of the visa.
Well, yeah, it's an overstay. He no longer has documentation to live
Uh,
in the country.
you
So,
know, if the guy's a month or two, they go, okay, no problem. But if you do it for 5 years, I don't think he could afford to pay him back.
well,
But you know where you're gonna know where somebody is from. Somebody that goes over there and complains about the government over there and the way things are done. You knew that you know they come from America.
I think there's other people that bitch and complain too. It's just not
Well, America's number one.
But the other thing, some of the interesting things about the blacklist that you got to be careful about, and I think we have this problem in America too. I really do. I think the no-fly list and putting little flags on your name when the police run you just for warrants and all that crap is very similar to the blacklist. I believe. So, but on the blacklist, if you get on the blacklist, you can get off. But the real question is, in the Philippines, if you piss off the local government official, he can work to put you on the blacklist. It doesn't have to be true that you did or said this, but with some manipulation in the way it is, you can get on the blacklist. So what do you guys think about the blacklist? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing?
Kind of racial. Why they got to call it a blacklist?
That's what they call it.
Why not call it a white list?
Because white would mean, I don't know. But I don't know. I don't know. But that's what they call
What about the purple people eater list?
it. Yeah. I don't call it the blacklist. The
You know what you
calls it the blacklist.
Hey,
you know what you get?
hear that, Christian? That's a Viking kind of thing.
David, I don't know if I don't know if you got one, but mine's expired now because they're only good for a year. But when I got my ACR card, it's like a credit card. It's got the chip in it.
Correct.
So if there's anything that happens, you put that thing in there, yeah, and then it'll come up. But when you're first doing it, though, when you first do your renewals, they got your name. They run it through a computer. They're in computer,
What?
So
That's a Philippine card with a chip in it.
Straight.
yeah, just like the credit card,
Computerized? You're kidding?
debit card. Yeah.
Now they're
Imagine that, huh?
yeah.
Imagine that.
Well, it's computerized, but they only got 2 people in the entire
You
country
got
that
to
know how to
fill
use
out
it.
4 reams of paperwork to get it.
Yeah, exactly. You know what happened to me with that thing? When I left, and you got to pay, the lady said, I show her my card.
Right.
Here when you
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
when you get an
Well,
ACR card,
where's
she
your
says,
printout?
"Do you have the receipt?" I go, "Who the fuck who needs a receipt for what?" I said, "You can't get this card." But
Yeah, but you don't understand,
well,
Tony. You got
well,
to have your paperwork.
you gotta go over there and buy one.
Yeah, you got to go get
Why,
another receipt.
why do
That's
I have
why.
this card if I gotta buy one?
That's why I laughed, Tony, because I said a card with a computer chip, right?
Well,
Eh,
well, it's a card. Yes, I had it. I had it come to find out. I was just lazy. I had it in my suitcase, but I had forgotten about it because it's a wad of papers. There's about 10 of them in there, so you can't
But
help
you
it.
you foolishly assumed that just because you had the result of all your paperwork, which
And
was the
then,
card, that you no
and
longer needed a receipt to show that you
you
had it
what?
all.
Yeah, and then the lady says, I said, well, yeah, I got it. I got it. I came January. I got the card on March 11th. And she shows the other, yep, you got it then, but you don't have the receipt. I go, what fucking shit?
You got to understand the process, man.
You ain't no understanding shit.
You got to do. You got
Yeah,
to do
see,
the
see,
program.
but if you complain, Tony, then you're breaking Philippine law. Then you get on the
Oh,
list.
man.
Well, there's over the years that I've been watching and learning, on YouTube, the YouTube world, not the real world, but the YouTube world. There's definitely been, I can count, God, 5, 6, 7 YouTubers who have been kicked out of the country.
Really?
And what do you think their major problem was?
Speaking
They
badly
didn't like eating fish.
against their life there.
Now, one of them, most of them is more kind of a sexual thing. They want to, expose the Philippine women on their YouTube channels. And I know from this that they have left the country.
He got rid of those perverts over in
They are
Thailand.
on that list.
They don't deal with that shit in Thailand either anymore.
Right. Carl's in the house. He says, "What's up, Jimmy?"
Hey, Carl.
Liking, everybody say hello to Carl. Carl, say hello to everybody. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, hit the thumbs up, share us out. And then the other one is that Peter Vandergraaf guy, who's basically was a vagabond who hated the
Who?
Philippines. Peter
Van
Vander,
Dever?
huh?
Van Dever? Van Dever?
I thought it was Vandegraaff, whatever.
No, it's Vandever. Steve Montelli did an interview with him. Guy's a
So,
freaking retard, man. Oh my, that
but
that dude got busted live on camera there. Stealing, he stole some shit, and he's in there playing a computer game. You know, oh, he got jacked up teeth. All kinds. He was your he was your quintessential redneck.
so they definitely, absolutely will put you on the blacklist. There's,
Mm,
I mean, it's truly a real thing. Not only for like if you're coming in the country and you know, obviously are sex offenders and they know you're wanted in their country or another country, but there are other ways like that. That with modern media, I think there's, and then of course, I think nowadays it's easier for them to kick you out of the country because or come after you for your documentation purpose because it's so easy to track. Even in the Philippines, as crazy as it is, as goofy as it can be, you got people all over the internet talking about, oh yeah, I don't have my 13A. I've been here 5 years. Well,
yeah, well, you're man. Come on, I mean, anybody that makes a stupid statement like that, man, you gotta know they're a problem child, man. You know they just are.
they're not the brightest books in the world.
No, not even. They don't even get half bright. You know.
But I did find it interesting that when we were there the last time, the last go around, it's like when we were on Mactan Island, like the Shangri-La Hotel Resort, which is really really
Oh
nice.
boy, what a name!
They have signage up talking about how you're not going to basically be doing porn in their hotel. That
Fornicate?
huh?
No fornicating in their hotel?
No porn making.
Oh,
So if you're bringing a Filipina and you're American or German or Australian or Korean or Japanese, they are actively tracking and watching nowadays
my
in
shit.
these 5 and 4 star hotels to prevent this from happening and turning them over to the local PNP or the NIB or the
Yeah,
NB. So
So
it's
how do they know? Do they have cameras in the room?
well,
yeah.
they don't have cameras in the rooms, but I guess what they do, from what I was told from
They buy
people,
the first copy.
well, no, what they do is they just watch, and
Oh, man.
you got to think about this logically. They got cameras in the facility, but if you're observant, you can tell who's dragging up hookers up to your room and not. You know what I mean?
So they're gonna watch the film, and when it's all done, they're gonna bust.
Now they're going to watch the film at the hotel of who's coming in and out of the hotel.
Oh, that one.
And if you're dragging up, a bunch of hookers and
Well, I
you know,
would say that.
so
Well,
that's
what about just one?
well, there you go.
You
You
know,
know,
how do they know?
I don't know how
And
they.
it isn't everybody that
You
does
know
that
what, man?
that bringing someone who's not their spouse in the room? Aren't they breaking Philippine law? Right?
Well,
My
they're talking about the exportation of the Philippine women, and it's all over these nice hotels now.
you know,
They're
you
signing.
know how that all gets started is because my second time over there, and I had my hotel room, and
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 you're
uh,
one of them.
and my wife was staying. I had booked it with just me. When your room is your room here, you can have whatever you want in there.
Sure.
And my I had to pay extra.
Well, yeah,
I had to pay extra to have my wife stay with me.
yeah, because you only booked it for one person.
But that's my room. I don't give it.
No, that's not the way it is in
This
America
guy.
or any other country we've been to. If you book a hotel room, they look
No,
at it and they're going to charge
dude.
you accordingly. If you want to add
No,
people, you got to pay
no.
extra money.
Hey, can I get a room? Yep, here you go. I could parade them up and down the stairs here.
Not the hotels we go to. I mean, you book
Well,
it, you better be in it. You can have visitors, but at least the ones we go to, it's yeah. You book two, you better have two in there
the
staying.
first time I've ever had anybody tell me ever, you got to pay more because you got the girl with you.
Well, they wanted their hooker tax, maybe.
Because the room, and you book a room, it'll say 1 to 2 occupants.
You know.
Yeah, right. My wife and friends have gone. They've gone to a hotel. They've like 8 of them stay. I like. You don't tell them that 8 of you are staying in a
Yeah.
2-bed.
Well,
but
when
no,
you're in a place that
because
ain't
they
that
sleep
busy,
everywhere.
when you're in a place that ain't that busy, and you're a foreigner, they see you coming and going, and they see
But
who
I
you're
mean,
coming and
can,
going with.
can you imagine being the guy in the room beside them? With my 8 Filipino women.
What a
Carrying up,
bunch of
carrying
wine.
on. Yeah, talking loud, laughing loud. And this guy's like, got to get up to go to work the next day for his job. Good luck with that.
But it's interesting. It's extremely interesting how they're trying to curtail that because there were so many guys on, and this is now look, it's been happening long before YouTube, but now that YouTube is out there and social media, and these idiots are posting and trying to make money off of, the chick in their hotel room wearing only her underwear, so they can get views until they get caught at it.
And so they have a different view of fashion.
That's it, but apparently not appropriate a fashion. So, but I guess the good thing a lot of these guys ought to think about, the good thing is they're not in a Muslim country. So if they were and did that, then they may lose their little weenie.
Flogging.
You mean
Stoning
mini me, mini me, right?
That's it. But it's interesting, and part of what happens, at least in the United States, from when we've traveled and we've traveled a lot and stayed in a lot of places, is, and I personally know people that run hotels and hotel chains, and why they want to know how many's in your room is it's kind of like a legal contract. If you book a room for 2 people, listen, if you book a room for 2 people, then 2 people stay there. And then if there's more people there, that gives them the legal justification to kick you out because you violated the contract you made with the hoteler that only 2 are staying in there. So therefore they get to keep your money and you get to go find another place.
So they're acting as a pimp.
The guys, yes. The hotel, I don't think
the management of the hotel. They're like a quasi pimp. They're making money off the other person. You're not.
Well, and part of the logic is they figure that 2 people cost more than 1 people.
Wieners, yeah.
It's kind of like the same concept that when you take a cruise, you can go on a cruise by yourself and it's going to cost the same as 2 people because you put 2 people in one room. The utilities are the same. So, if you put 2 people, you get more utilities. Maybe that's how they look at it. So
yeah, maybe they ought to do a wiener count, like Carl said. They come in the door, they count the heads.
Well, some of you guys out there that like those lady boys, there may be too many wieners in the room. So,
well, that depends what he identifies with, man. He's got a sausage, but he wants to be treated like a woman.
But that's, I don't know if that's going to get you.
Another story? Is that another topic, David? Can you cover that one?
I do not, because I really don't care who has a wiener. I'm one of those people that I just don't really care. I really don't.
I don't either. I got a brother-in-law. I just, around here you get big time harassed. Over there, it's a lot more accepted than it is here.
Does he like being called your brother-in-law?
I don't know, man. I keep calling him William. He keeps telling me he said, no more William. I said, well, that's all I know you by.
Oh, what is it? What is it?
What is he working
on? I'm not going to say that, man.
Oh, okay. We'll make it.
Maybe he would have a name like Wilhelmina or something.
No, nothing like that. You got a couple of them.
Willifred.
Right,
Yeah.
But now, if you want to talk about that a tiny bit, I'll tell you because I saw this on the news lately.
Tiny.
Once again, about the male athlete who said that he wanted to identify as female, and with the NWCCA or what the National College Collegiate Association in swimming, those lawsuits are going to be coming up. And so, where the guy was ranked 400 in the men's category, then he switched and said, I want to be a girl.
That's
And he
bullshit. Man.
dominated in the women's competition. So those lawsuits are coming.
That is BS beyond belief, man.
Yeah.
So you're gonna say like Mark Spitz he should have or what's that recent guy, the ugly dude, the tall guy.
Bruce Jenner?
Who? No, not Jenner, man. Slim guy.
Phelps.
Yeah. So Phelps could go compete against the women.
Correct.
He just says, "Well, I feel like a woman."
Correct.
So it's what I want to do.
And that's
I don't care what you feel like. If you got a wiener, man, it's a no go.
So, from that's an interesting concept, from what happens in that arena.
Yeah.
But other than that, I really don't give a crap what you have between your legs. I don't want to see it. So
Yeah.
you think to yourself, whatever it is.
Whatever
Well,
happened
when-
whatever happened
you're-
with this don't
When you're in a swimsuit, it's kind of obvious.
yeah.
Yeah. That's why I wear really big swimsuits.
Even if you got it strapped on, man. I mean, that might make you turn a little bit while you're swimming in the lanes.
It's a rudder.
It can be it's a rudder. It could be a little drag.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of a drag,
Very little for some people.
That's right.
Yeah.
A drag would be getting on the blacklist, trying to keep us on topic and not in too many gutters. So
We got a nice rabbit hole going there.
You got the wrong guys on there for keeping it on top.
Well, we're trying to educate.
We're too old to get senile.
That's right. We're trying to educate future people who will watch this stream, so that will help them make wise decisions in their efforts, in their travels, and if they want to find a Filipina.
I bet
Oh,
you.
by the way, look.
I think the people that are going to get on the blacklist are a little bit beyond our help. I don't think anything we say here is going to encourage them to do what they do.
Make me feel better to try.
I know Tony's got his PhD in BS, but even he's not going to convince them.
No, man, I can't beat that. Man.
He can talk an elephant over a high wire, but
Well, and look, we do have a single Filipina that's looking for a guy. If anybody knows anybody, so just throw that out.
You
there.
do, huh? Well, you got a picture.
We don't know anybody that's good enough.
Yeah, really. Yeah,
that's
sure.
like my wife's always asked me, "Do you know anybody?" I was like, no.
I don't know any.
And the people I do know, I wouldn't recommend it.
Right.
Yeah, I know people, but
but
you got a guy at work I used to work with. Mechanic, all that stuff, and he outwardly, I mean, the dude got some freaking hang-ups, man. He's got. Otherwise I'd say, yeah, man, because I asked him one time. I said, Dennis, you're a decent looking guy, man. Why you got all these skanks for girlfriends, man?
That's just the way
let me ask this question, guys. While we're thinking of the blacklist, what do you think would somebody do that would deserve them to be put on a blacklist?
Well, being obviously an asshole.
So just being an asshole would get you on the blacklist?
Yeah, usually when
would be on the darkest blacklist.
Hey, no, ain't not like we know. I mean, you don't go over somewhere you're not from and start acting like you're holier than thou kind of attitude.
But who gets to make that? And Carl's talking about, and I want to transition to stupid people because that's actually on my list.
You're gonna have to get some different people on here, then.
Yeah, that's gonna disqualify us.
So
one thing sharpest spoon in the drawer.
I've encouraged guys that want to go over that. And now look, and I know a couple.
What?
A couple of guys that openly admits that their wives are dumb as a brick.
Well, that ain't cool. Say that.
I know a couple of guys that says, "Look, I love my wife to death. She's gorgeous. She's great, but she's dumb as a rock."
No, yeah, you know.
What I've told
You ask him, when did you first discover this?
Yeah,
They-
really.
the,
Just
the
lately, after 10 years?
the day they
when
met.
you were putting $1 bills in, or what?
Yeah, that's it.
Jeez.
So I told him, I said, okay, if you're going to live in the Philippines and your wife is dumb as a rock, then you better make
You
sure
should
that
never.
you make a friend, whether it's a foreigner or a brother or somebody that can help you navigate the trouble or help you prevent getting in
You
trouble.
know, that
Hey,
ain't right. I mean,
but
but say your wife doesn't know as much as you do. That doesn't make her stupid.
I didn't
You
say it
know,
did, man. Hey, it's not me, not my
but
words.
I'm just saying, for a guy to sit there and put his wife down is,
Hey, my wife does everything. I just follow the instructions of my wife. When we're in the Philippines,
there you go, man.
I have
Good
no.
boy, good boy.
My wife knows everything about everything in America. She can do it
That's
all.
right.
look, if you're looking for guys that know how to interact with women, you got the wrong panel because
Yeah, yeah.
we are hopelessly
Uh-oh.
lost.
Oh,
What is it?
Hey, you know what? Hey, you know what? What was it? What are those singles
I,
agent things?
just say Oppo die,
What is it
right?
about me as a wife?
No, that's what he said.
I
He
hear
said
you.
he
No,
said
we
he
didn't
knew.
say nothing about you.
He
Are
said
you kidding me?
David said he knew a man who said something about his wife.
Yeah,
being
you were
dumb.
listening. You know better.
We were saying how can you
Oh, I
do that?
don't hear those. I heard about
No, and Anthony said that was
my.
horrible that a guy would think his wife is dumb as a rock.
Well, I'm starting to second think that now.
Hey, if a guy thinking his wife is a dumb as a rock, then whoever picked the wife is dumber as the rock.
That's the
Right.
dude.
That's our point.
That's
Yeah.
David's brother friends.
That
Yeah,
was my question. When did he first begin to figure this out?
Yeah.
because how you can pick a rock if you're not sitting
Well,
on the rock?
see, there's a difference when you say it in jokingly and passing. It depends on the tone of your voice. If you go, "Oh, my wife's dumb as a rock," well,
Some of us have been through some quarries, aren't we? Haven't we?
yeah, I don't
We
know, man.
Big old rocks.
we
Man.
we don't know
Oh,
anyone.
he was
Hey,
saying you got
hey,
one for sale. Oh, I mean, one
okay.
looking for somebody.
Joke long. Joke
Yeah.
long.
But I like your answer, Kiko. The fact is, when they started putting the dollars in the G string, is when they should have realized he was dumb as a rock.
There you go.
But
Well,
but
that's
but in seriousness,
she
She
could have
wants to
been
blame
someone
me
working
right
on her
away, man.
PhD and just
She
needed
wants to
money. I
blame
don't
me
know.
right away.
Man, I hear it way, way far when I talk about wife.
you have to have an
Yeah.
intelligent wife and or somebody in the Philippines who
See,
can help you
Dave,
navigate keeping you out of trouble.
David was good at that birthday, but he sat in a totally different room at a table by himself.
I did. I sat out in the garden all by myself.
Yeah,
It was
well,
Hey,
hot in this
when I went there, I got off the plane. The only time I was alone was when I got out to the sidewalk, and everyone was asking if they could take my bags for me, and that's when I first saw her. So she never let me out of her sight after that. So
of course not. She
of
didn't want
course
nobody
not.
else meeting you at the airport.
That's right.
Right.
That's
I
right.
got, I had that mentioned
And,
to
and,
me
and she
3
brought
times.
five cousins along to check me out too to make sure I was okay.
That's right.
No, they didn't check you out. They came along. She'd buy them something.
Well, yeah, so I'd buy dinner at the mall, the food court. What's your favorite? Oh, fish head soup. Okay, everybody, whatever you want.
It's fish
Yeah.
head soup. Woo! We didn't have
Woohoo.
fish head soup, did we? For your party?
No, I didn't either.
Ano
I
ba
didn't
ito siya?
have it.
Sinog ba?
Oh,
Grilled
let
one.
me put a plug out because I know nobody around here watches, but our lechon that we make is probably the best in
In
state
town.
the state
What,
of
soup?
Arkansas, Missouri. No, it's a pork belly, roasted pork belly.
You make it.
We make it.
Well, it all depends who you get your pig from, too, right?
It does, of course. If it's
Yeah.
a pig
Been
pig,
eating
it's not
garbage.
good. It's good. But we make that's a
What's that?
Okay. Who's that?
slideshow of our party.
Well, that's from our birthday party. Hold it closer, or blow up the screen.
Yeah, David needs. There you
There you
go.
go, David and another guy. They look like Rocco. Don't get so quick through there, man. Jeez.
It's automatic. It's automatic.
Okay, how many
Did you get the
husbands
did you
slash
get the
boyfriends
tops?
were there? What
Uh,
were the percentage of accompanied
Three
female
three
ladies
married
there?
three married couples.
David's
Oh, look at
counting.
in the YouTube. They're all single.
Oh,
I think there was
they're
5.
single on YouTube, but not at the party.
Yeah. Remember
No,
those
my
single and they're all raising their hand.
no, in my experience, what I was getting at in my experience, when you first, if you bring your wife over here and you start going to Filipino parties and you're always going with her, and then eventually it's like, yeah, go ahead, yeah, go ahead, because you get there and there might be like the only husband there is the guy who owns the house where the party's at, you know,
There's a few
and
guys. Jane.
everybody else is like because they like gravitate to their friends and let them have a good time. That's fine, but
Yeah.
I was the
you
only
don't.
male at my wife's baby shower.
We had 5.
That's a baby shower. Come on, Tony.
Including me, there were 6 guys and there was about 40 girls.
40?
In and out, about 40.
Did you ever take the food out? What'd you do with all that food that was left over?
What do you mean?
How
Like,
many?
Uh,
How many single?
none. They
No
all said they were,
singles.
but they aren't.
Right. I
Yeah.
was going to say, how are they single here?
Only
Because
two
they're
guys
now
showed up.
divorced.
The other guys got a break for the night.
Yeah.
Plus, their wives come home all juiced up, so it's a bonus.
Yeah, we got them liquored up. What are you
Where's
doing?
showing that? It's the food.
He's going to show you the.
What'd you do with the leftovers?
There wasn't any. They ate it.
Hey,
No,
when are
they
you gonna
took it
do
home.
a video on that
Tell
kitchen?
tell David what baun is. Right, baun.
There's
It's
my
your
pork lechon.
takeaway.
Looks like the back of a dog.
That's just the belly, right?
Yep, roasted pork belly, pork lechon.
Oh,
Well, it's not show Philippine.
You made it? Did you make
who
it?
got who
Yeah,
got the head and the tail?
the butcher.
The butcher.
We're opening a business where we sell that to locals.
Oh,
So,
This is stir fry and dinuguan, the blood
That's
pork.
stir fry.
yeah, got
what
blood
you're going to start your own? What's it called?
Looks like
Calendaria?
diarrhea.
Is that what it's called? Calendaria?
That's-
Street food?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Calendaria.
It's going to be called Pak Lechon.
Ugh.
American couple.
Philippine American couple lechon.
You
Hey,
guys made
this-
the food, huh? Did you make the food, David?
Yeah, we made the food. All
Okay.
of it.
And where are you going to sell this? You're going to sell this to Americans
We're going to sell it to the Filipinos that are married to Americans.
I ain't gonna be on
in
it.
your area.
Yes.
These are the only two singles.
Where the old ladies.
There you go.
It's because they're like 90.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
are they widowed? Is that why?
Yeah, they're widowed. They're
Yeah.
60.
I was going to say that's about the only.
But they're
Yeah.
really, really nice ladies and good cooks too.
I'm sure they are.
They are. They're really nice ladies, great cooks. That's our buddy Javon, who I'm going to interview down the road here.
Was that that hot one you were telling me about?
Yeah.
This
Scroll
one?
back.
The-
No, scroll
what-
back. No, the
The
other
one
way.
in the pink? Yeah, she's so
No, the other
good.
way. No, the other way.
she's
The
hot.
other way.
Opposite.
only-
There you go.
there
Keep
you
going.
go.
Keep going. Keep going. No.
The other way.
Balik. There you go. 1, 2. On. Keep going.
You won't go.
Keep going. Tony. There you go. Now, who are they?
Ah,
Oh my
Left
goodness.
and right. Left and right.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
they're married.
There's a reason why Kiko's got an avatar on
there's more.
Mm.
it.
He's Filipino. He's American. Oh, he was here. Fred was here. So yeah, about 5 guys.
Fred.
Yeah.
There's one another single too.
Only a 12 pack of,
Hold on.
But,
might be a 12 pack of Pabst.
but we're looking for a husband for Joy, right? We're looking for a husband for her friend Joy.
Hold on, there's
Sure.
another single here.
Never, ever become a matchmaker because
I
then they'll blame you.
I'm gonna give my sister, in case my sister-in-law is watching, I'm gonna get her a Filipino Cupid thing subscription.
That's good.
You gonna
Those are
get your
pictures.
sister-in-law one?
Yeah, you don't have to bother me.
Yeah, David, buy me
Is
this.
this the sister-in-law or is this the brother-in-law that wants to be called a sister-in-law?
No, this is the regular.
Oh, okay, okay.
This is the female. This is the fee without the
You,
she in there.
you get me confused.
You
The
got to see
she.
all these gifts that she got for her birthday
She had 10 kids. From who?
from everybody. How many turtlenecks does Lorelai have?
Man, it's like Christmas in March.
A lot.
Yeah, really, man. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
What did you buy her, David?
Some earrings.
That's earrings for that from David.
Would you get them at the zirconium, whatever
Yeah,
they call it?
Zer-
No, I don't accept those. I'm not cheap.
Tony, cubic zirconium.
Cubic zirconium, yeah.
No,
But
it
fake
was the diamond.
diamonds.
They're not
I
even.
can't.
Now who's going to know the difference? You know.
You
You got
got
'em
my
at
gifts.
You bought them at Walmart, right, David?
Yeah, no, they're not even grown diamonds. So
Hey, just FYI, Anthony, I told David like I got a bad of habits of addiction on real jewelry. So
Ah.
if
What
you're
if what?
trouble on that one,
But
then
how are you gonna know?
How long is
I had jewelry, a real jewelry when I was single. So there's no
How
reason
long-
why I cannot
long
have
is-
one when I'm married.
David? How long you have to be in rehab for that addiction?
a long,
Yeah.
A long time.
a long time.
Long.
Okay, see
Oh,
all
wow.
my gifts.
Okay, peace out, Carl.
They're
All right,
all
Carl.
Russian.
That's how you do it.
Well, that's what we did for her party.
All right, karaoke time.
And so, oh God.
Hey, Carl.
All right. So, are you done, Tori?
This one is
Canta
single.
lang.
Oh, this one's single.
Oh, that Hollywood star there.
She's single.
She's single.
Well, she looked crazy.
Babae or lalaki?
Don't say that. They're our friends.
Don't she?
You never know. You
You're
don't
gonna
know.
go
What's Lorelai laughing for then?
You're going to get on the blacklist.
No, oh, yeah, there you are,
I
yeah.
can't. I'm here in the States.
You're going to get on the blacklist. I'm going to get
It looks like could be
Okay. Pila lalaki and pila babae.
I gave them a lot of wine. We had a bunch of extra wine. And
I just asked her how many are male and how many are female out of the 4.
in that picture you just showed, are they all female?
Yes. I think so.
Whoa, what the, look at her going now, boy. Oh my
How much-
God.
Was it wine or was
Is
it
it a
something
bottle
else?
of Boone's Farm?
No, Stella Rose.
Ripple.
Don't you?
Ripple.
Stella Rose.
I get that at Pick and Save here. It's good for your heart
That's
in
Stella Rose.
moderation.
Drink like Kool-Aid, man. You just
Wine's good in moderation.
suck it down.
Speaking of that,
Okay, there's her eating. Bunch of girls. We had a bunch of people here.
who's the cameraman? Well, you got like a 12-person table there?
No silverware required.
No, you never catch me eating at one of those things.
One of the funny things is, you guys all know, I thought was funny was the rice cooker was over on the counter. Well, they had to go get the rice cooker and move in the middle of the table. You know,
I bet they could. A party ain't a party without a rice cooker.
That's right. But yeah. Let's see. That's our little kitchen.
We had one time where they actually set out the banana leaves on the table and we all ate off the banana leaves.
Yeah, we've done that. This guy
In the States.
Yeah. So that guy owns a roofing company, a construction company.
our
here.
lechon is missing.
Have you? Is he Filipino?
Yeah. They already ate the lechon, the whole thing. It was like gone in 5 minutes. We put it out and said,
It's good, man.
Oh, yeah.
Chicken, you had chicken, obviously, right? Chicken,
turkey, chicken,
baby
ribs,
back ribs.
beef. We had
a guy here who was like the go-to. He made lechon, right? The full pig, and he'd charge like $300.
Yeah.
And he'd cook it for you, and then we met him like 30 miles away and brought it in for the party, and that was his side job, you know.
When you hear a pig at 4 a.m. squealing, that means somebody's having a party.
Yeah.
But Kiko, that's what we're getting ready to get into doing.
Yeah,
is
be the
the
focal
whole pig.
point
Yeah.
to do the food if someone wants to have a party. You're going to cater, right?
No,
Well,
we're just gonna
in a
cook.
roundabout way.
I'm just gonna cook the damn pig,
Yeah,
and
you're gonna prepare the food, and they can come and get it.
Well,
that's it.
gotta
Only
have
the pig. Only the pig.
bigger deposit, man. Big one too.
Right, and they got to pay for the half up front.
Well, that costed a pig and a little bit extra.
We well, yeah, but we spent $75 on pork belly alone. So
Did you? Could I? I can only eat baby back ribs. I can't have the beef ones. I have blood pressure going.
well, we'd make sure to give you beef ones then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we had ribs. They had fish, tilapia.
Yeah.
We had chicken, biscotti.
Did you meet your? Did you cook your ribs where they just fall right off the bone because they're so tender?
Yeah, we grilled them actually. I grilled them on charcoal.
It's like a parboil while you grill them.
So we grilled them. That's how we did it. But
Yeah, I flavor it, and David
How
just
many?
grill.
How many hours? Oh, you flavored it. How many hours? What did you rub in your? What do you put on your pork?
It's a
What do you
secret.
rub into there? Peppers? What seasoning? What kind?
for the pork,
Secret.
right? For the pork belly, that's a secret.
Secret. I've never done it, man. I wouldn't even, and I'll never will.
You know how when they do lechon, they put the vegetables in the pig inside the pig. You do the
Yeah,
same for
like
the
a
belly.
turkey's. Turkey, yeah.
You do the same if you're just cooking the pork belly.
Oh.
They put lemon. What is it? Lemongrass, right? And all this
Yeah.
stuff inside. You do that for your
Onions.
pork belly,
Yeah.
Yes.
Onion,
Yeah.
garlic.
right? All that stuff inside,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there's some special techniques that I do. Lorelai and I work really. The product comes out better when her and I work on it together. What? Don't roll your eyes.
Are you kidding me?
So
You get. Is there like a special Southern barbecue American style
Mm.
sauce you can use?
now
Or it's all peanut, all
I have my
Filipino style.
own specialty that no
Baby
one.
I know.
Ray's, sweet
I'm
baby Ray's, man.
right. I'm saying if you did it for an American crowd, could you do a little bit
Sure.
different
Absolutely.
barbecue?
Absolutely.
No, here when I did the barbecue in the grill, like in the steak.
Mhm.
The rats.
When was that? On the 4th of July in our other house.
Mhm.
So the men went there, and they're asking their wife like, get the recipe because this is the best barbecue I ever have. I don't need a sauce.
Yeah,
Oh,
when
David made it?
Yeah, that's what they said.
you do
Oh,
the rat
wow.
on the stick. Is that neat?
Yeah, and they look like they really like it. Like,
I want to see a video of the kitchen there, David. You got a nice little setup there.
Yeah, it works. Well, you saw a bunch of videos. All you can do is watch them. We got hundreds of them out there. Me cooking.
All I gotta do is watch them.
Yeah, I mean, come on. What do you
Okay,
want? You know?
let me look it up myself. That's okay. You know, hey, I ain't got nothing to do. Yeah,
so
But
you can spit up nothing, did you?
that's why we put our food there because everybody just go around without bumping each other.
How long was your party? How long was your party last for?
It's from 5:30 to
3 a.m.
3.
no. The other one left. There's only few left.
You didn't fall asleep before dessert, did you, David?
Yeah, we're just talking after 10 o'clock.
We slept a lot on Sunday. Let me tell you. So.
While there was bacteria growing on the food.
Man,
Yeah, we slept like 3:30 a.m. So I told her, "Hey, go home now."
it's a lot of work putting on big parties. So, but we did it, and it worked good.
Patrick wants you to bully him.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know, Patrick. Patrick, we don't bully people, but we appreciate
No.
the effort. Maybe we can find you somebody, but we don't do that.
Well, Kiko's he's a masochist. So.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, and we like, where was my thing I had? There we go. That's what I like, I think. Yeah, I like this one.
So how long did it take you guys on your end? Because all the food came from different houses. People brought, right?
No, we.
You
made-
had all of it.
Yes.
Oh, how long did it take you to get all that together and
All day.
before the party?
All right, I prepared turkey on Thursday.
Hmm.
On Friday, oh, you started on the other one on
Yeah.
Thursday, right? Then on Friday, I'm slicing all the ingredients. On
Okay.
Saturday morning, I cook fast, so That's
It
fine.
took us about 8 hours total to put everything together. The pork
Yeah.
lechon takes longer because you have to marinate things overnight
Yeah,
Mhm.
David went to the
So-
grill, then I went monitor on what's in
in
the.
the house.
So you guys started this early, what, Saturday morning, whatever
No,
that was?
only 8 o'clock. I took a
Hey,
shower
Sam.
and do something.
Everybody say hello to Sam. Sam, we appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
We are talking about getting
Aye,
in
aye.
the Philippines, and Sam
Yeah.
apparently likes gloves.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I appreciate that, Sam.
Gloves, huh?
Gloves. Well, we don't have any gloves.
Well, he does. Only he has.
So, so
David
no,
can't answer that.
we spent a good
What is
8
it?
hours, probably total cook time, and then I spent another at least 8 to 12 hours
No, it's not.
marinating some things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We started like 8 o'clock. Then I went,
Yeah.
slacking sometimes. Then
Yeah.
then go back.
But I'm talking about
Because
between
while
those-
I'm cooking, we can do multitask.
Yeah, we do
I
a
can
lot.
cook.
Yeah.
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 You gonna do this for a side job, David?
Now we're gonna cook pork belly lechon
Uh-huh.
and whole pork and
Yeah.
like they do in the Cebu in the
Probably
Philippines.
with a business.
Yeah, and do that as a side hustle.
Yeah. Other people tried to make one, but
They suck
they
at it.
said it's a different because ours it will melt on your mouth. That's what they said.
Yeah, we know how to make it and make it taste good. So we've actually had people request them in the past.
Yeah.
We just really haven't
When-
charged.
When it's special occasion, I will flavor it. When it's regular, David will cook it.
So, and then we'll just sell the meat.
Are you sure? You know what? That looks a lot. That looks like something that what's the name would say.
Who's like the name?
John,
Oh,
I want you to bully me. That sounds like him.
yeah, that's how that is.
Copy paste.
But
Yeah.
so it takes a lot of work, but it's not that big of a deal once you kind of get into it.
Get yourself organized. I'm sure.
And
don't have-
we're as good at getting organized.
Holes of shit all over the kitchen, and they got like an 8-hour mess.
That's
No,
it.
it's a good convenient kitchen, so you can move around.
No, I'm just saying, if you were gonna do that and you didn't clean as you went, kind of.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, I don't know why people will do that, but I don't know. I can't do that.
Well, then you got to pay the piper the next day, or you got to either hungover, you're tired, and you got to clean this stuff up. Then you
I-
don't get it all.
I clean as I go, so when I'm
Yeah.
done cooking, everything is on the trash already.
See, I'll show you what we're going to use if I can find it.
There's a-
Right
I
here.
must look like this. It's not that way.
This is what we're going to use if you can see it to cook the whole pig on.
Oh yeah, it's like costs like $500 for one of these up here.
And,
Is that the one?
this is what I want.
Steel. Is that one I'm thinking of? It's like half a barrel.
Yeah, so this is the one I like because it
Looks
adjusts the height, and there's a lot of good things
Yeah.
that it does for the way we work. So
You can cook the meat through with the heat without burning, and then move it down to where it gets a little seared, huh?
that's it.
If David is watching,
Yeah, I have a problem. I got to pay attention to things.
Uh-oh. You didn't follow instructions on it, did you?
Well, sometimes,
You, Laura. He dropped the pig on the floor?
no, you know how oily is the pork belly.
Yeah.
So when it drop, it catch the fire, and when David go back, when his backs,
the whole
So
thing's
right.
on fire. So I
That's
got,
why
Then
David
we'll-
said, okay, there will be a grilled one.
yeah, so I
Oh.
improvised and made it differently because
Poor little boss of you.
They said this is really tastes good, but why it's kind of dark?
yeah,
Yeah.
I had to improvise because I caught the whole entire grill on
But
fire.
it's sold out. Huh?
Yeah, they ate every bit of it. So,
Okay.
but I just worked it differently. But,
You were naughty.
it's called being adapting. You know.
I think after he just turned around, the fire caught up on his back.
And and human fat even burns really quick, and pig fat definitely. So when I was cooking it over coals,
You probably hating that came up. She came up with that, huh?
Yeah, but we had a good time, right? It was good. Everybody ate.
Sounds like it.
You know, I bought cakes from our local harp store, so
Mm.
we didn't make the cakes.
Everybody get jealous on the cake. Huh?
Yeah, the cakes were
Because it look
good.
like in the Philippines.
You told me you made the cakes. You didn't.
No, no, we bought them at a grocery store chain called Harps.
Yeah, that's too much work.
Hearts. Yeah.
Harps, yeah, they only got about 10 or 12 of them.
Oh, that would be a
Like it, huh?
that'd be a ton. What's his name? Simon's wife Maria makes desserts.
Now, one of our friends, see, the people that brought the pizza, that's homemade pizza down at Jake's restaurant in West Fork, which is a Filipino-owned restaurant, and she makes American and Filipino food. And her food is great. So she brought some of her pizzas that she's actually won awards for.
The best pizza.
Mm.
Yeah. And so that's what that pizza was. But her daughter, who's half Filipino, does custom baking out of the restaurant. So you can order whatever you want.
I question who is judging them judging those pizzas.
Oh, it's good pizza.
Only in their town that they won.
Yeah, best pizza. Yeah. They may be the only. No, I'm just kidding. Because their pizza's really good. But I try to tell the American guys.
Which is better, my pizza?
I try to tell the American guys that if you really like good Southern home style food, that she makes really good country fried steak and gravy.
I like country fried steak.
God, you know, she likes all that.
Spanish rice.
So it's called Jake's Restaurant in West Fork, Arkansas. If you're ever in town, it's a great place to go visit.
It's a restaurant?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Filipino owned. So,
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a American dish.
well, duh, is an American dish. But anyway, all right. Let's see whatever the trouble we can get into. Where else was I going to go? We were going to talk a tiny bit about visas because this helps us stay out of trouble. Let me pull that.
Say what?
Visas.
Oh yeah.
All right. Everybody say bye to Lorelai.
I'll be back.
Oh.
Bye.
Ingat.
Gusto mo?
So here's a webpage called travel.state.gov to help all you new people that want to go to the Philippines understand. And it's real simple, quick facts. Not going to beat this one to death, but here's how you get into the Philippines and how you can, how long you can stay without getting yourself put on the blacklist. So your passport must be valid for 6 months at the time of entry, past the time of entry. Vaccinations, you know, that fluctuates, but usually it's just yellow fever. And now with COVID, you know, whatever.
Unless if you don't, and if they don't get it, they must have been living underneath the rock.
Yeah. You must have enough passport pages, which I think this is out of date, because I know the Philippines still stamp, but, you know, I don't know. Eventually, they're going to be like the United States, and you don't really get stamped anymore. It's all electronic. And this is a tourist visa. So no, for tourist visa under 30 days, there's no visa.
I don't even think they got microfiche yet.
I thought it was 3 weeks, right?
30 days.
21 days, I thought,
Yeah,
on a passport.
What do you mean?
If you go there with just a passport, you have no visa, you're allowed to stay for 21 days, then you got to leave, right?
29.
30. No, 30.
Okay, 30 now. So someone lied to me.
29.
It's right here on today's website. 30 days.
Well, what's going to happen is you get 29 days, 30 days, and if you go to renew that, it's going to be in that fourth week, you know, before the fourth week is over.
So, and here's something that was touched on earlier, and I've talked to several different guys about this, but Anthony was one, is about how much money can you take? And look, one thing you can do is take, this says currency restriction for entry is 10,000 USD or 50,000 pesos, depending.
10,000
is the same. But here's what to keep in mind, and I know this for facts, that the Philippines does not give a crap how much money you're bringing into their country. Who gives a crap is if you come back to the United States with more than $10,000 that you didn't declare on your way
Well,
out.
you can bring more than 10, but if you do, you have to declare it.
That's my point. You have to but the
Over
Philippines
10.
doesn't care. You know, technically you're supposed to declare it, but they're not going
But
to.
listen, would you really, knowing what you know, knowing what I know, Kiko knew, would you really feel comfortable walking around or having $10,000 in your house that it's 500,000 pesos that somebody
Absolutely,
would steal from you?
absolutely not.
You know, I
I would
mean, until you spend it, you're walking around with it.
absolutely not. One of the worst things you could do.
Mm.
But my point about that, because I know a gentleman last year, he took in cash almost 40,000
Ooh.
in cash, and he wasn't worried about it because he knew that he wasn't coming back to the States, or he was never going to bring that 40,000 back to the United States.
Well, yeah, but that,
That's
that's the easiest way. If you bring 10, as to if you bring it back, the U.S. government's going to go, "Whoa, look at this here. What is
right.
this?"
Where did you get it? You didn't declare it on your way out, which means now you need to pay us taxes on it.
And they're gonna do it the Filipino way. Do you have a receipt?
Yeah.
Tony, I
Some
got a
guy,
question.
some
I
guy.
got a
Wait a minute. Some guy told me a story once that he went to open up a bank account, and the guy had whatever, I don't know, $1,000. Where'd you get that $1,000? I got it from my pocket. No, do you have a receipt for that money, man? Fuck. All right, go.
I have a question. Your son, he was born here in the States, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. When he went over, I know your wife is still a citizen, right? Philippine
Mm.
citizen. Now, your son stayed there. Does he have any limitations on his stay, or did you get him a dual citizenship already?
He's born a dual citizen. He has a Filipino passport.
Okay.
That
How did
that
you do that?
Filipino passport.
He was born in the States, correct?
He was born here. What we did was we sent it down to Chicago. We sent uh, all the paperwork down there. And he sent it to Manila. A report of birth and a report of marriage. So the Philippines he has a Philippine birth certificate too.
Yeah.
Okay. So does he have a U.S. passport and a Philippine passport?
Yeah, he has both.
Because that might be important to some people who
Very.
Well,
subsequently, once their wife is here, they've had children here in the
if,
States, and they want to go back. What's the
if
status of their children?
you got to leave here on the American one, I think.
Right. You leave on the US passport, but you can go in on the
So,
Philippines.
so when you're in the Philippines, if you want to come back here, you can use theirs. But I don't know what kind of prerequisite there is.
But if your child's born here in the States, you have to go through a consulate or the Philippine embassy here in
Yes.
the U.S.
Well,
in
you, the
order to do the paperwork get your child a dual citizenship.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what we. Well, he's out. He was born. As long as one of the parents is Filipino, he's in right away.
Right. It's an easy process, but keep in
Yeah, and
mind.
and all getting that Filipino passport means is that verifies that he's a citizen.
Mhm.
Right.
Which is great because it gives them citizens' rights.
Well,
I have a friend who's been through this, and he sent his two kids over for nursing school. As Philippine citizens, they were able to for what you would pay at 1 year at our major university in nursing. He got 4 years in the Philippines.
Oh, easily. Yeah.
Yeah,
Easily.
but he made sure that they were a dual citizen, which is easy to do. You just file the paperwork with the Houston embassy, and boom.
yeah, ideally they want you like after the kid's born. We did it like 6 months later, and you get a little crap about it. But you're supposed to, as soon as you get married too, report a marriage. So that's on record in the Philippines too.
I put like 3 kids through college in the Philippines, and it was like $250 per semester.
Yeah,
So it was
Because
very cheap for them to go to school.
he
yeah,
One
qualified.
one one nurse in college, 2 of them teaching.
yeah.
Well, you know what? One of my brother-in-laws wants to be a P&P officer, and I was, and we did send him for a little while back, a couple years back. But I looked at out of curiosity. I looked, and it requires you to have a bachelor's degree, science in criminology or science or some shit. So they weren't being truthful with me. And no matter what way how I worded the question, it always came up to must have a bachelor's degree.
Hmm.
So if somebody tells you, "Well, I'm going to be a police officer," and you go pay for their schooling, if they don't have that degree, they're not getting in. Now, unless they change that, well,
Were you here?
they
Were you here in the States when you paid for it, or were you over there?
I was we were over there. I paid for a couple of months, I think. I forget what it was,
So
but he
how is
got.
he attending this Philippine Police Academy if he doesn't have a bachelor's to get in?
Well, that's what I'm saying now. I didn't know that back then.
Or was he really attending this police academy?
Yeah, well, you know,
You don't know.
if you're gonna, the best way you could do it is pay it yourself.
Well, the key is this because we've helped a couple of people go through the security guard academy. And so, therefore,
Security Guard Academy.
yeah, the classes to get to become a certified security guard in the Philippines where they can carry the gun, there's different levels. And
Maybe
there's
that's
classes and training they got to go through, and it allows them to make more money. And we've advanced money to people and said, okay,
well,
look,
maybe that's what he was talking about then, because it couldn't have been, because I was advised that it'd be best if I went and paid it and not give him the money to go pay because it might not get paid.
right, absolutely, you should always pay yourself. But
See, there I had to have been it couldn't have been put to me very clearly because I was under the impression that any Joe off the street could go, and sign up and take the classes because they had to do karate or whatever, one of the physical classes.
well,
Uh,
we have a young man that wanted, and Tony, I think you're right. That we had a young man who was thinking about becoming a police officer, but he had to go and get a bachelor's degree first.
yeah,
But
right.
the security guard realm, then you just pay to go to like a little academy
Now,
training center.
is that security guard part? Is that a private company or is it an extension of the PMP?
Private companies.
Okay. You know what? We went first. My first year there, we went to the green belt, some kind of mall over there, and the lady was kind of like a more well or built Filipina, not big, but and she goes, she's patting to see if we have anything in our pockets. She puts her hand on my ass, and she was patting it.
You got to grab her.
I'm like,
John has my younger brother-in-law's in the Philippine Army, and he was paying off his college, but he wanted to join the Army. Now he gets a paycheck and a lady.
there you go.
Tony,
But,
you just have that effect on people, Tony.
Yeah, what must have that must have been because when I'm just confused because I would hear him say PNP like last year when I was there I said I was talking a little bit about it. He goes, I can still do it, and I thought, okay, well, think about it. If things go my way, you know, if
yeah,
I
I'm
make
not
it,
sure, but but the guy, the young man we know now, he's going to be a teacher. But when he was
because if
looking at
if he meant the PNP, then that was a lie.
or misunderstanding,
Well, nah. Well, be on he should know. I should, more than I would think. But yeah, sure.
let's see if we can Google it and find out.
But anyway, when I'm not, when I'm not,
All right, Tony, I got you covered right here. Just listen up for 1 second. To become a police officer in the Philippines, you must be a citizen. You must not be more than 30 years of age at the time. you must be at least 1.57 meters high for a
Mhm.
male and 1.52 as a female who can grab Tony's ass.
I read that yesterday.
You must have a bachelor's degree, be with good moral character, and have passed the physical mental health exam and any hospital accredited by the NAPOLCOM. Must
So
be eligible, and that's it. Those are the
so
rules.
right so here they could hire you as a police officer, but if you want to advance within the department, then you got to have the bachelor's degree in what do you call it? Police
Well,
science.
funny, and policing in America is a totally different animal. But I think all you got to be here is, you get hired and they send you to the academy. I actually think, for the most part, and I have police officer friends, they are the least educated police officers in the world. I think our police officers are the least educated ones. I
I
don't.
wouldn't-
I think it'd be a good thing to require an associate's degree at least
Well,
to become a police officer.
so if you got a bachelor's degree, you can't be that bad off education wise. I mean, it isn't like you're putting in
But
some
right
dude
now,
that went to
to
fourth
become
grade.
to become a police officer anywhere, you usually got to be above the age of 21 and have a high school diploma and meet
Right.
the physical requirement. That's it in the United
Yep.
States.
Yeah.
High school degree.
Yeah, and if you want to move on to detective and all that other stuff, and hopefully, or maybe one day you want to be the chief of police or somewhere,
It helps to
uh,
have degrees. Yeah, I agree with you.
you're gonna have a master's in criminal science or something.
I
Not
think
to pick on. Go ahead,
a
Kiko.
lot of them have some military police experience
So
too, if they're
so
veterans.
it there must have been a misunderstanding with what I was hearing, because
Yeah.
when I saw that, I thought, hey, wait a minute, man. He told me he could, okay.
No, you got to have a bachelor's degree, and that's what we found out with our young person in our family when he was looking at that.
Hmm.
And his family didn't want him to become one because they're so dangerous. But
Unless there's a job within the PNP that you can do without a bachelor's.
I don't know.
Tell,
In the Philippines, it seems like so many jobs require a
Yeah,
bachelor's in something.
they want. Hey, dude, it sounds like they want the equivalent to a 8 or 12 years of school here to be a doctor.
Yeah.
Tony, what do they require for bus drivers?
Not just the regular diploma thing and no criminal record and all of that.
Did they require a high school diploma?
Yeah, I
Really?
don't know about now.
Or GED?
Yeah, they used to do the Wonderlic test. They don't do that no more because they couldn't get enough people to pass it. So
Uh,
Did
so
you?
that was probably the
I
biggest test I ever sweated through in my life,
you
man.
know I saw some report on the internet. I don't know if it's accurate, but uh, recruiters say that 70% of American youth are not fit to serve in the military.
Oh, I
I
believe
could
that.
I could tell you
70%,
I believe that.
seven
I, I,
zero.
I could tell you that Wonderlic is not it does not it does not truly
Is
show what type of
is
person
that
you
the
are.
psychological one that says you're like passive aggressive
No,
or
here's the sick. Here's I took a test for
play?
the sheriff's department here. In one part, I aced it. That was the psychological test. It was 300 questions. And those what happens in those 300 questions is they repeat themselves only in a different format.
Were
It's
they
the same. It's the
were
same
they
question.
were they multiple choice?
Yeah, yeah. It was the same question, only worded a different way.
Yeah.
And I, as I'm going through it, because I remember it from before when I took one for Grafton up here, Grafton, Wisconsin. I needed a job, and there were like uh, 300 guys there for 2 jobs. Oh my God, forget it. So I just went and just filled it in. And I was out of there. I still got 75%.
So you didn't have to have a CDL.
CDL for what?
To
Yeah,
drive.
yeah. Well, they help you acquire that,
Okay. Okay.
but you
And
you have you have to have a regular license without any, drunk drivings on it.
and to get a CDL, don't you have to get a physical every year? for CDL?
No, we're not the
Not
old.
it.
We don't have to do that like people that cross. Ours is different than if you leave the state line, the
Right.
state,
Yeah, in different states. Like I know a guy
then
that
you
drives in
then you
Ohio
need
and he
a
has a CDL and he has to
yeah,
get a physical every year.
yeah, you have to get a medical card, but not us because we're
Oh,
within the
The boundaries
county.
of your area, restriction area. Yeah.
But what they do is a lot of these instructors are licensed or whatever by the state. So when you take
hmm
the test, you're taking it with the instructor that you trained with from work.
yeah.
Well, thinking of the driver's license, let's switch to driver's licenses in the Philippines.
No, well, yeah, go ahead because I'm gonna. I doubt I'll ever use mine or switch it, but we'll see.
Well, I Googled it today just to make sure I knew what I was talking about a little bit.
Hmm.
And there's a couple quick statements about it on the this is the website called Land Transportation Office for the Philippines. So this is the government website, and if you want to go look at it, you can. So the question is here, they're basically asking questions. I have a valid foreign driver license. Can I use it in the Philippines? What do you guys think? Yes or no?
You can for only like 90 days,
Yeah, temporarily.
which is stupid. Which is stupid because some places require you to be there a year to get their license.
That's right. 90
What
days.
what the hell is that? That don't make any sense.
Can you convert your foreign driver's license into
Yeah,
a Philippine driver's license?
yeah,
Yes, if it's valid with no exams.
right.
If it's
But
expired, subject to written and practical
but
exams.
the thing is where you don't want to actually give it to them, physically hand it over, is because you need if you fly within the borders of the United States, you need to have that.
Right.
Otherwise, you can't fly. So if I come back home and I don't have my driver's license anymore, and I lose my passport, I can't get on the plane.
Yeah.
So do they physically take your U.S.
I don't
driver's
know.
license?
I
Now,
I, I have yet to do it.
the key is this: when you do this, you can do it two ways. You can either convert your license where you give it up and get a Philippine one, or without any exams, or you can take the exams and just get a Philippine
Of
license. That's what the
Okay, and
website.
what is the cost? Does it have a cost to it?
Let's see. Let me
course
get
it does.
look at
They're
that.
all about money over there, man.
Well, I know that's what I met an American when I was over there. I was looking at just walking by apartments. Met
Hmm.
this American. He had been there 2 weeks. He already had his multi-cab truck, and I said,
So
"You have a license already?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "What did it take?" And he just rolled his fingers like the money sign, right?
Yeah,
So it just
that's not what every single
yeah.
department of
yeah, it depends what barangay, what LTO
you
office you're
know,
going through, right?
if you have a connection, if you have a relative that has a connection, well, you can bypass the written part and all that. But
Right.
um, all it is really for us that have valid licenses is, showing
But
them ours, and we got
yeah,
theirs.
but you don't want to physically give up your U.S. license.
No, no. See, I don't ever plan on coming back to use it anymore
I
after
don't
my
give
son's
up.
wedding. But but when you renew that, mine's good for what 8 years here now. I still
Yeah.
got about my renewal is 20. Shit, when did I get that renewed? About 2 years ago. So it's about 6 years from now. But I don't because if I let it lapse, I might have to take the written again. And because of what happened to me with my fall and everything, I don't even know if I could do that again. If I could pass it.
What it looks like, guys, is what this says. If I understand, because they're the way they explain these fees is kind of goofy to me. But it looks like it technically says in paragraph 1.7, it's 585 pesos for a professional and or a non-professional license.
Yeah, I don't need no professional man.
And does it say how long it's valid for?
Yeah, they're 8 years, I think.
It looks like up to 3 years if you pay additional fees.
They're more than 3 years. My
And
my my sister in law's husband. He has a relative that works there, I
Yeah,
believe.
I'm trying to read here to see.
So it's either 6 or 8 years, something like that.
Yeah, let me see. I'm scrolling through here to see.
See, the problem with looking stuff up on the internet is some of this stuff isn't dated or it's outdated and it
Correct.
never leaves. So
But
when
the
you
only thing
look,
I do is go by what their government website. Now, granted, it may be out of date, but at least that's what I try to do. I try to go to
I
the government
mean,
websites.
you know, the government and what each island, forces and what they don't, and
Their particular barangay tax, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
they there may have been improvements made along the way, like but one area might still go by that rule the first when it first came out. Not even though it's changed.
I'm going to do a little more Googling, but basically it says how to renew your driver's license. Of course, you got to have a driver's license.
Money, dude, money. That's
You
all.
got to show your passport. You got to have a letter of authority to authorize to represent. So it's pretty simple to do, but I'm trying to see how long let me try a different way. Go ahead. I'm going to try to find a different way to see how long how long they expire.
I I don't know, man. I don't. I kind of like getting a ride for less than a quarter. So, but if you have a vehicle, then you got to deal with all the people that don't obey the laws, and that could become stressful and all that other stuff. And when you drove for a living like I did, man, you don't want to deal with it.
Okay, so this says tradition historically. Driver's license in the Philippines lasts 3 years before requiring renewal. But thanks to the latest act, RA 10930, which was signed back in 2017, motorists will now be allowed to apply for a license with up to 10 years worth of validity if certain conditions are met.
One
So
that you have a pulse.
I don't know. We're going to look here. 10-year license. Simply put, I need to blow this up because I'm blind so I can read this fine print here.
You got new glasses.
I know, still blind. Simply put, you got to follow all the rules and regulations of the Philippine roads. You should be fine. All this means is you should not have any tickets, any bad driving records. So it sounds like you get your 3 years first, and then as long as you're a good driver and you're not a troublemaker, at that point you can apply for the 10 year.
But you being a foreigner are going to be a target. I don't. You'll be easily sued and blamed, and
Okay. And also,
there's been cases where a guy sitting still in his car, and some minor without a license hits the car, gets hurt. They want you to pay for his hospital.
well, now, and I'm going to touch on that, but aside from having a spotless driving record, you also need to take the comprehensive driver's education program prior to renewal of your license to get to do the 10 years. So there are a little bit of a test that
You
you
get
got
the
to,
extra years
huh?
to get the longer period of
Yes,
time.
that's right. And you still got to pay there's a 585
So,
peso fee. There's a 67 peso fee. There's a 100 peso fee. There's
well,
another fee for 67
in,
also.
in
Estimated total cost 820 pesos.
yeah, in certain areas, you may just have to pay a little bit more.
That's right. But that's kind of what the website says, the government website
Yeah,
says.
there's got to be an official something or other. But
But
come on, you talk about driving safely over there. You kidding me? That's why I like taking a ride because my car doesn't get. Or if I ever had anything, I'd have my own my own trike too. Because I'm not going to cry if somebody dings that. But if I buy a vehicle that's $35,000, then I'll be
Well, one thing
because
I tell expats, no matter which country you're going to go to reside in, if you're going to get a driver's license in that country and drive a vehicle in that country, you better make damn sure you have a front and a rear camera that records because, Tony, you're absolutely right. No matter what, you're at fault unless you can prove otherwise. And this is for any country when
You
you're
know, I see people pass to the right by scooters and motorcycles. They pass to the right, and they do it. You know, I mean,
Everybody
I
say
like
hello
it.
to Filipino with an attitude. You stop
I
and
like it. I like getting dropped off at the store and not have to worry about parking or
yeah, I
my
agree.
vehicle.
It's convenient.
You know,
But that's
Hello.
the Filipino with an attitude, and her hubby did a live stream last night about how bad women could be.
how were their attitudes?
Yeah, yeah. But everybody say hi. Everybody say hi to each other.
Hello, hello.
Yeah.
But
How bad? How bad? Who can be
women, the
in
psycho women
in general,
in general.
worldwide?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, that's a deep subject.
it was. But the key is, if you're going to drive in a foreign country, you got to make sure you have a front and rear camera that records everything, because you're guilty no matter what. Just the way it is.
You know that Brian guy up there, Philly in the Philippines.
Uh-huh.
He had a lady. He was at a stoplight, and some girl on a scooter uh, crossed from the right lane and went in front of him just when he went, and he hit her. So
Yeah.
they lucky for him, there was a CCTV camera, and when they went to the police station, their family was ranting and raving, all that shit, until they found out the cops there said, no, it's your fault. Here, you would have still been wrong no matter what. But when you're wrong over there, you're wrong. And he paid for her hospital bill anyway. I would never have given her a dime.
Let's welcome in Bam from Check Out the Rallies. How are you, my friend?
There he
Hey,
is,
doing pretty good. How you guys doing today?
the man, the myth, and the legend.
Good.
How long are you going to be in Hawaii?
Until I get finished.
Get finished. What do you got?
I had stuff I had to take care of, and
So what do you what does a 2-bedroom apartment over there typically go for? Do you have any idea?
in
42,000.
Hawaii.
Yeah.
Well, you can rent a room for about $2,500 a month, just
Rent
for
a room.
a room.
So all this $1,500 hotel stuff is it's a scam or what?
$1,500 a night, probably.
Yeah.
So it's expensive. It's
It
expensive.
said that it's cheaper to live there than Guam.
Is it?
Yeah.
I've only passed through Guam, so
Well, only by a little bit, but not not enough to make you want to bolt 8 hours north of it.
yeah. It's I'm sure there's other islands that might be a little cheaper than this island.
What
Yeah,
island one? Honolulu?
Yeah,
Yeah, they got Maui and they got Oahu.
yeah. Well, the Big Island, something that got less, well, less stuff there, less stuff to do, whatever.
yep. Less tourist crap.
Right.
Yeah.
John, Hawaii beaver size beaver hunter.
Beaver, huh? Beaver.
But
They don't got no beaver in
I don't
Hawaii.
got beavers in Hawaii.
Come
well, there's
on.
all kinds of beavers running around here. you
Well, yeah,
just
but
the wrong kind.
Freaking too much
that's
Some are
food.
smelly and some aren't.
two-legged ones. Yeah.
Some are smelly and some aren't.
You know.
Oh, Lordy.
And my daughter lives there. So.
Yeah.
We've been talking about trouble in the Philippines and what to do to if you get in trouble in the Philippines. That's what we've been discussing tonight.
Yeah.
So I
I gotta,
bring
And
What
we know
else?
what an embassy is, what a consulate is,
right.
rights, and all of that kind of stuff. You know, where to go for help and stuff.
It really starts with the barangay that you're in, or the people local, right? I mean, you can get in trouble big time, but if it's something just in the neighborhood or whatever, being already cool with the barangay will get you a long ways, right?
Yes. And that's something I was saying earlier. I was telling the guys, I've had a couple of guys tell me that their wives are dumb as rocks. And
let
Well, that's a good start to the
let's not people be confused with being an idiot where you walk in there and go, hey, I out loudly, well, I thought I could give them 12,000 pesos and they give me the license.
Right.
Well, and where I was going with this was that if your wife isn't the smartest cookie in the jar, then you got to have somebody around you that you know that is. And where I
Right.
was going to go further with this is the advice that I give
Good thing you got us here.
is you can't trust the other American. So just be careful.
Absolutely not, man.
Just because we're from the same country doesn't mean that guy's going to really look out for you. He's going to have his own agenda.
Well,
But you
you're
have
gonna know.
somebody, a confidant, a brother-in-law, a neighbor, somebody who you build somebody,
This,
some way that maybe understands things better than your
it-
wife. How
this,
do you navigate to make your life easier there, right?
this is where common sense comes into play. You seldom get fooled, but if you do, then it's pretty good. But yeah, just because somebody's from where you are, no.
Yeah.
Well, but a lot of expats, and Bill,
I know you 2 weeks. I'm not, I'm
I
not
talk a
giving
lot
you.
about in generalities for expats throughout the whole world,
Sure.
not
Sure.
just the Philippines. I mean, we're obviously Philippines, but
Right.
but everywhere you go, I teach and tell people, look, you got to be wary of the fellow American in Belize and Honduras and Mexico and everywhere else you go,
Right.
because they're not always there. Because it's a different culture. I tell the story, and this, you all know this, that every time Lorelai and I go somewhere, we travel.
Right.
I don't know how they do it. The Filipinas come out of the magical world, and they all know each other, and they're sisters in a minute.
Right.
Americans, we don't do that.
No. No.
So
Well, us smart ones don't do that, anyways.
right, right. And so that's something I tried to tell everybody.
Okay.
Like, you can't trust the Americans.
Right.
Go ahead, Kiko.
Yeah, I was watching the hockey. I'll turn back to this because Pitt will be on in another half hour.
Can't trust Americans named David. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely, I wouldn't trust me. Are you crazy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Deceptive Dave.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah. It's if you're not with the smartest Filipina, which let's face it, some of us aren't. My wife is in the chat, so
you better back that comment up.
Yeah, mate. Oh, yeah. You gotta start
not
out.
you.
When we were talking about this earlier, Bill, I
I'm sure
made sure to announce that my wife was the brightest and the
Right.
smartest.
I'm sure
She
mine
is
too.
the smartest
But,
and brightest. Right. Right.
but you should never, even if you do, you should never speak to
But go ahead, Bill.
Right. But it's ahead of time before you have issues. It's always good to get to know who's in charge in the area that you're living. Right.
Mhm.
Who's the barangay captain? Where do they live? What if you need something? It's not. In our area, I don't know about other places, but in our area, I just can't pick up the phone and call the 911 and get everybody out there, right? So you got to know where the barangay captain lives, and
What
or
color Johnny Walker he likes?
right, you got to,
That kind of thing. You got to
you
grease
know,
the wheel.
that's it. You pre-grease it, right? It's
Right.
already working in your favor. So if there is an issue going on,
You can't be the town drunk, being belligerent, going around
right,
telling
And
how
then I'm drunk with him.
this town sucks.
right,
Yeah,
right,
unless he's there with you.
Yeah, unless he's sitting
Right.
with you.
Unless
Right.
he starts it, right?
Partners in crime, then you're all right.
Yeah.
Um, but we don't have troubles and stuff in our area. The only thing I can think of that has happened in our actual area that involved us or a family member is my sister-in-law was on her way home and she was turning to come into the onto the street that we live on, and she hit, or a motorcycle hit her, right? And the guy on the motorcycle who didn't have a license, no lights or anything on his bike and everything, was claiming she pulled out in front of him, which maybe she did, but how you gonna see that shit? Like, it's dark. What am I supposed to do? Guess you're here? No reflectors, no light. But anyways, there's the barangay captain. All the stuff is there. He's I walked down there and was like, look at this dude. He ain't even hurt. I was giving it to him. Like, look at him. He's laying here acting like he's hurt. There ain't nothing wrong with him. He's just drunk.
Yeah.
So, and they actually had us or had my sister-in-law take the vehicle to the police barangay or whatever, the police headquarters there in town, to have it inspected, right, to make sure everything was working, lights were working, all that kind of stuff, turn signals were working, and then it became, you know word against word. But when it came down to it, he didn't have no insurance, he didn't have no driver's license,
And he was drunk.
yeah, and
You pointed out.
right,
He didn't smell a drop.
right. So it's just a matter of, he ain't got nothing. What we're gonna do? Go after this guy? He ain't got nothing.
Hey.
What are we gonna get?
Do they
Yeah,
do they do breathalyzers in the Philippines?
Not maybe in
They have any technicality where they can get you
BGC
for that
maybe.
kind of?
they probably do, but it's not a breathalyzer. Or at
Yeah.
least I've never seen one. I've seen
Right,
I've
right.
seen all the
I,
spots and stuff. Maybe they get you out there and have you touch your
I'm
nose.
just wondering what their determination of if you're impaired, how they do that
Yeah, I'm not for
from
sure.
a non-technical standpoint.
I can't walk straight line even now when I'm not, I didn't have a drop. That's just my imbalance.
But
Well,
Billy,
we had this guy on the street. I was driving this route, and I knew this guy. He was across the street. Some car hit him before I got there, and the guy's laying there. Of course, he ain't gonna move because he's getting paid. So he's looking over to my way. I put my arm out the window. I put my thumb up. go,
Right.
man.
Like, get up, get up.
My boss is laughing her ass off, and I told her that.
yeah, we had a friend who had a motorcycle incident. Another one hit them and tore up the I guess the shroud or the fairing and the fender.
Mhm.
And it was definitely the other dude's fault. And I told him, and he was a security guard and all of that. And I told him, I said, why don't you make him pay the damages? And he's like, where's he going to get the money?
Right.
And it was so cheap just to go for him, just to go buy another plastic shroud and a plastic fender that goes on these little bikes.
Right.
Versus trying to wring, blood out of a turnip or whatever they call it.
Exactly.
So that's was my experience of that. He
Right.
kind of just went.
Yeah.
See, all those years of driving, I have never been able to take my frustrations off. So I got a lot of shit stored. So if somebody there wanted to blame me for something like that,
Well, you probably did it.
I might go to jail either way. Because
that's the bad part right there.
I don't have to put up with nobody's shit no more.
Hey,
Right.
Tony, then you'll be on that list that we were talking about.
Yeah, I'll be on the blacklist. Yeah.
Right.
Get your happy ass on that blacklist.
Yeah, David used me as an example, right?
We were talking about the blacklist earlier too.
Right.
Covers road rage for Tony.
Yeah, road rage.
We're hoping all sex offenders wind up on it.
Yeah.
As part of our beliefs. So,
Yeah.
but the other cool thing was I was watching him. My buddy here, John Ray, when he was doing his motorcycle. Hell, they're like Legos. You just this comes off,
Right.
comes off, this comes off, this comes off. You just put new on and you go. I'm just
Right.
like, wow. We wouldn't in America. We would have to pay $1,000 in a bike.
That'd be the Al Sharpton list, John.
The Obama.
Al Sharpton just had to when that black dude got killed by those black cops in Memphis or somewhere around there. Al just had to say, well, if them cops were white, fucking please, man. Jeez. I hate that stuff.
He's a rebel rouser.
Well, he's a coat hanger now. I don't know what the hell he did. So was that
Yeah,
Randy
what did he
Jackson.
do? Did he have his stomach stapled or? How
You
how'd he
frickin',
go from being like 4 times the size he
did
is
you
now
did
down
you
to
see Randy Jackson that was used to be a judge on American Idol? That dude looks like a coat hanger.
really? Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
he looks.
I guess they have a certain operation that does that. Huh?
He, I don't know how the guy holds his head up.
Hmm.
With all the money he made.
Well, he looks like he was in Auschwitz or
Back to
something.
cash.
Something
All
bad.
that cash. It's like
Mm,
Michael Irvin is going to have
Yeah.
another $100 million around his neck in a month.
Yeah.
right.
So
So, but yeah, who can he sue though? His employer, the hotel,
everybody,
everybody? If he gets a
yeah,
good enough lawyer, he will.
he's apparently
You're
got a
unjustly
very,
screwed.
he's got a very smart lawyer who's
It'd be
already
like
made some very good legal maneuvers.
Good,
And
good.
Aaron Andrews got rich off that hotel tape I never saw.
Who did?
Aaron Andrews from ESPN.
she got
Well,
millions.
she's not Fox. She's on Fox.
Yeah.
Tall blonde.
Somebody
Uh,
viewed
uh,
the
Aaron Rodgers always gets giggly around her. She did.
So
Somebody
what
installed.
was that case?
Somebody had a camera there, and pen size type camera, and they were selling it on the internet or something.
So she was staying out in a hotel, and somebody apparently the people, that's what they're called, people,
Yeah,
was defective or whatever.
you know,
Somebody was able to stand outside of her room with a camera into the people
the
and
dude,
watch her undress.
the hotel, everybody. They made her more money than she's probably ever made in her life working.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Same thing with Michael Irvin. I mean, he's going to take home a huge check. So
He should donate that, man.
Man, I wonder how many times they watched me.
none,
Huh?
none.
Yeah, because it wouldn't get any views on YouTube.
Well, if people sat around and got stoned, it might. It might.
They put the
Yeah.
camera up there and go, oh crap.
Look, another beached whale.
Yeah, you can't even get it to the hole.
But I don't know, man.
Oh, he got more
And
rolls
that's
than
actually
donuts.
part of her
He got
lawsuit.
more rolls
Looks
than a
like a
bakery.
plunger.
Part of her lawsuit is why a lot of hotels now have swinging doors in front of the people. Believe it or not, that's why that is. I don't know if you guys know that.
They had a peep on the wall, man, didn't they?
No, it was to the door because I read the case because back when I was still working in
Must-
OSHA, I used a lot of legal stuff in my teachings and
It
show the adverse effect of a lawsuit.
must have been a.
That
It
would
must
be
have
a
been
hallway
joining-
door, right? So they have
Yeah, I
cameras in the hallways, right? So they probably would have seen who was there at the
No,
door.
man, yeah, David. I think that dude had. I think it was in one of those adjoining rooms.
Well, but the people wasn't guarded, but actually they saw him on. He's on video.
What the hell are you gonna
outside the
stand? Up?
door doing it.
You gonna stand out in the hallway with your camera up to the people? What
That's what he did.
is that? That's
And
stupid.
part of the lawsuit was they didn't protect her by stopping him.
But what I'm saying is they got CCTVs in the hallways of the hotel
Yeah.
Yes.
What
that
is?
would show that person in front
Yeah.
of that door
You'd have an educational film
for an
that says,
extended
what is-
period of time, at least
Yeah.
30
What is
seconds.
What is wrong with this person? He's standing there with a pen like camera.
And that's the point that her attorneys made and they settled on was because they didn't do anything about it. The hotel
Okay,
did.
so how much did she get paid?
Oh God, I don't remember.
Hundreds of millions.
50 million, something like that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's my chance.
from my old teaching days in the ocean world and the safety world, I always like to point out about how, look, that little 10-cent item on those doors now that covers that people would have saved them millions and millions and millions.
She was brushing the kitty.
So I don't think there was any pits allowed at that hotel.
1,000 strokes.
No pits
Good
allowed.
lordy.
You
So we go
imagine?
down into rabbit holes that nobody wants to go.
You got. I just found. I assumed it was from room to room. And this guy had that little minute looking fine camera.
He did.
Because it sounds kind of redneckish that somebody would stand in the hallway with a freaking
Yeah. Yeah.
huffing and puffing and.
Well, Well, I had one of those cameras that would work perfect for that because I used to look inside walls, and I
Oh
had
yeah.
that was the right
They
size.
do that with plumbers too, with the when the pipe snakes and
So,
see if it's broken, drain tile or whatever.
see, Bill, do you really miss America?
Well, the
You're scared
food.
of the rabbit hole,
Well, you're in Hawaii, that's almost
Yeah,
America.
it's American enough. Huh?
John says he's scared of the rabbit hole.
John is. John's scared of the rabbit hole. Yeah.
Yeah.
John eats the rabbit.
He's gonna uncork a bottle, huh?
Yeah, John eats anything. So.
Hey,
Oh yeah, John's gonna uncork his
dude,
California. Hey.
you got 2.5 hours tonight, man.
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah. Okay.
Lorelai didn't even smack you upside the head or nothing.
No, we're gonna start moving into later. So next week, I think we're gonna do 7 o'clock start time. Daylight is longer here, and I like to go do things in the evenings.
It's longer everywhere.
Duh. Well, technically that's not true. It's only
Does Hawaii do it?
daylight savings.
Yeah.
No, not that I'm aware of.
What time is it?
5 hours.
What time is it there, David? Is it 5?
You're 5 hours behind me.
Well,
Yeah.
what time is it, David? Not David.
Bill.
Bam.
Yeah, it's 3:00 p.m.
Okay, so now
Wow.
you're 6. You were 5, now you're 6. So you do not do daylight savings.
Right.
'Cause I know because my daughter lives there and she was 5 hours behind
6 hours.
until last weekend.
Well, this is the
5
last,
hours.
this is it. This is the last time they're doing daylight savings. It's over.
Yeah, that's
Are you
what I
sure?
heard before.
I don't know if they've passed the legislation.
No, they've been talking about this
They've
stuff.
been talking
yeah.
about it, but I don't know if they've
Yeah,
done it.
this has come and gone before. I'd rather, but I tell you, I've been kind of ever since it went ahead. I've been tired, man.
But in the Philippines, isn't it always like 5 a.m. sun up?
Yeah,
5
yeah,
p.m.
they don't.
sundown,
The only
right?
change is the sun's out for. You could tell when it's 5:30. It starts going down.
Yeah.
Other times of the year, it'd be 5 o'clock and be dark or
Which is
dusk.
kind of weird how it gets dark so early there, but for
Like
Yeah.
Yogi
I don't
Berra
mind,
said.
man.
Yogi Berra said gets late
of
early
people-
out here.
A lot of people come out at night like that. It starts hopping,
Mhm.
Because it's so stinking hot during the day. You either get most people I know, if they're not like at a job, or even some of them that do, they take a nap during the day because they get up so early and stay.
Yeah. My in-laws do that stuff.
I do it, so
I've done it, but it's kind of sleeping with in the building we were in was plywood, and it's a lot warmer. It's like a convection oven almost. When you're in the concrete downstairs, it's cooler,
right.
but upstairs we're on the wood.
airflow's the key, man. For me,
Yeah,
I'm 90
the-
degrees as long as I got airflow.
this place I was in there was a building with a concrete wall right on the other side of it, so there was not a whole lot of movement with the air.
Right.
I think they had an Antarctic blast one night. It got below, usually it was 74, but it got down to 65, and you could feel that wind from the south, man. Oh my God! I went to reach for my blanket, but of course you don't have one. But it was nippy, man. Like up here, nippy. Yeah.
I have blankets because I make ice spit out of my air con when I'm asleep. So got the fan on me too. So
I remember I lived on Okinawa for 4 years, and the coldest it got with the wind chill one time was 55, and I was freezing.
Yeah.
I had this tiny little members only jacket on, and I said, "Man, this is crazy."
Hey,
I say
I used to spend the whole winter in just a flannel shirt,
Right.
in Pennsylvania. Now I
it-
get cold at 55 degrees.
Yeah, it's cold. I mean, over there, I never complain about the heat because I know this cold that I'm in right now sucks so bad.
I just think it's cool that you had a members only jacket.
Yeah, well, that was late 80s, early 90s.
Well, these are members only, I mean,
Right, that's what I mean. I had one, so I get it. Right.
so those little thin ones made to make you look like you had a lot, like you were cool.
Right now, I'd get one arm in it, I couldn't get the second. I don't,
Like Chris
I have to
Farley,
give
huh?
it to a little kid because I wouldn't fit in it anymore.
Chris Farley. I gave my son my Class A jacket coat the other day. I couldn't get that on. Well, I could get it on, but I couldn't button the buttons.
That's what happens when we all get old, man. We get wider.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I don't really give a shit. Man. Tell you the truth,
I'm
I
gonna
would
need
have to
six,
be on a
seven
daily.
people extra to carry my ass when I die. Make it make it hard.
Oh,
Well, to be honest, I mean, if you really want to think about it, with our wives, we definitely is something that we have to think about because the older we get, the worse the health we get,
Sure.
then they will have to look out for us. So we definitely got to figure out how to make
Right.
that endeavor of taking care of a 200-pound. I'm not 200, I'm 300, but a 200-pound guy or
you're 200 pounds?
no, I'm 300. Bill's probably 200.
No,
Yeah, but
I'm
I'd be doing a health walk over there. I have to. You have to.
So
Yeah.
I'm 3. I'm up. I was
Problem is, that's a danger to your toes when you go out and walk.
well,
Yeah. Well, I plan on wearing my shoes this time. So.
Yeah, you better get some steel
Hey,
toes.
it took 11 months for that nail to grow back because I partially tore it off. Now, all the times I keep my toenails trimmed here, and I go
Tony's
over there, I did not trim them, and I slipped on this mud, which all the Filipinos are laughing because
Tony's
they
going to
know
be the
better.
only expat wearing steel
And my
toes.
and my toenail caught the edge of the concrete slab and tore half of it up. And I almost did it again, but these Filipinos at the unit.
They're all laughing at you, man.
Yeah, they're all laughing at me. All of them, man, because I was the foreigner walking in the mud, not watching where I was going.
Look at
Because,
the foreigner bleeding.
well, they're
they
light
got
on your
your
feet.
roads are like an alley, and you're passing, buses and cars. So you try to get to the side as far as you can. Well, that ain't happening no more with me.
Well, but if you can play basketball in flip flops, you're not really worried about things.
I used to do that, man. First time I was there, I couldn't do it. Now I'd fall down. The only difference between now and then is I ain't gonna get up now. Not like I pop up back then.
Leave you laying in the ditch.
Oh my
In
God!
the ditch. That's just crazy.
Some people can do it though.
All right, gentlemen, that's about it for us for tonight. We will be
Oh,
back next Tuesday later at 7 o'clock with another brilliant topic.
7 o'clock, man.
I have no
So
clue what it is yet.
Did
but
we cover all your topics?
We did. We got through them finally.
Get out.
It took almost 5 hours
Yeah.
to get through the
But it got there.
I could have talked. I could have done it.
It's like playing whack-a-mole.
But, Mr. Yank, are you doing yours this Friday or not?
I am this time.
You are. You took a week off. How was it?
Yeah, I just didn't feel like that. I knew everybody was going to miss me, but I just.
Yeah, man.
We went and played in the snow, and hey,
Yeah, I got my.
We had a bank
three,
collapse because you didn't show up.
Yeah, I got my
Saturday.
I got my 3 subs watching me.
But yeah, next time we're going to start later in the day at 7, and then
I wouldn't take
down the
that.
road we're going to be interviewing somebody who's going through the K1 visa process.
I got to tell you, when I get over there, I'm going to do mine in their nighttime. So
I saw that one guy. There's a video, the 71-year-old guy with the 19-year-old. He paid $4,000 for someone to do his K1 visa paperwork.
I'll do it.
I'm like, yeah, I'll glad I did mine.
You got probably got a Filipino lawyer. That's what we got.
$4,000.
You don't.
I don't believe that shit.
Some people have more dollars than cents.
There you go.
Because that's not even necessary. You can do the K1.
Yeah, I know. I did it
Common
myself.
sense is now classified as a superpower.
All it is government paperwork. It's just fill out
But then again, if you're a 71-year-old trying to screw a 19-year-old, you got bigger issues.
Well, I got an uncle that's 80. He's a pretty spring chicken, boy.
No, he said this is the real one, man. So.
Hey, he said the doctor put him on some medicine. He comes, and he's got, he wants to go, but
for his soulmate.
You know, yeah. Well, my auntie just
They're
died,
meant for each
so
other. They have so much
I
in
don't know if
common.
he's going to do
Right.
that.
Yeah, it was like
He was with my auntie since he was 15.
but it's a good deal for her. You know, he'll die in a couple years, and
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
Not,
that's what I mean.
not him. I'll
He's
tell you, my
already
uncle
like
there.
bought the property right next to her parents' house, and
that's
Yeah.
it.
probably gives them their stipend every month.
My uncle
So,
Fred will probably outlive us
oh,
all, man.
when they come, he's already got it planned out. When they come back to the States, he dies.
You're not talking about
Just
Gary.
sell everything. And no, I don't know his name.
No, it's
Gary? His name
It's just
Gary?
some random guy.
Is his name Gary?
so. Bill, when's your next one? What are you up to?
I think on one that I'm excited about is I'm gonna on Friday. I think it's Friday, the U.S. Um, either Thursday or Friday. You know, I keep getting confused with my days, but we're interviewing a passport bro who
Oh yeah,
came to the Philippines and married a Filipina. Oh, so
Who's done that?
Yeah.
yeah. So
Bill's
that's
going to do a live stream where he interviews what they're calling a passport bro.
right.
Hmm.
So you know, it's a black man from the states who did not didn't
Did
did
not want to marry a
not
black.
settle. What's that?
He
So
did
he
what?
didn't want to marry a black woman.
Yeah,
So
he
he
did not
married.
marry his black sisters.
Yeah.
He came to the Philippines and ended up marrying a Filipina. So yeah, I look forward to they're going through the process. He's actually been a
So
long
he
time subscribers of
came over
ours.
with $5 and a big Johnson. That was it.
We'll find out. I don't know the story, so
When is this? When is this?
I think it's Thursday or Friday of this week.
This week?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I
Bill
think we
wants-
just scheduled it.
But it's
So
Hawaii time, right?
yeah.
everything will be done on my wife's time. She's the one that
It's
sets
Philippine
it.
time.
Yeah.
Oh man, well that got to be our
So
early
we
morning. Then.
typically we do it morning Philippines time, so it's evening.
Well,
American time.
Yeah. Well,
I-
Tony's on. What time are you on, Tony? 6?
5:15 this Friday, but I when I get over there, I was doing mine in the daytime over there, but I found myself waking up at 5, and then starting at 6 Philippine time, and then wasting half the day. So
So I mean, this
um,
Friday you're doing it 5:15 your time.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But when I get to the Philippines, it'll be your morning. Here, it'll be your morning,
Well,
8 o'clock.
what we do is we take the kids to school or whatever, and then when we get back home, that's when we do the live stream. So,
Okay.
Smart. That's good.
yeah,
Their parents live a different world with a hidden
When the
hidden
kids are
character.
gone, you know, the parents will come out who they really are. Woohoo!
Let's go. We can do the show now. The kids are
YouTubers, the kids are quiet.
Yeah.
They're
No,
gone.
that's good. So
in
yeah,
here.
and I got a
Yeah,
couple other topics. I'm going to do some what I think what I'm going to call pop-up short live streams. You know, during the middle of the day when
you
get
mean
to-
like
you know,
what's his name does those McFarlane?
well, but I'm not going to be drunk. I'm
What are you saying?
not going to
No,
be drunk.
Michael does the short impromptu live streams.
Short.
Not short. I'm sorry, short on alcohol, but I mean,
So
No,
his English is like your Southern English.
yeah.
So what's the point?
That's it.
You know, he's a good guy and everything. We have fun with it, but you know, when it takes somebody, when you're talking about something, and then you're three topics away from what you were talking about, and he's still talking about that one,
Yeah.
Sounds like us.
and you're going, what the? We're
No,
talking about
with
we're
Michael,
talk,
we've gone down like 4 or 5 new rabbit holes, and he's
yeah,
got
we're talking about
one way
first
back.
off we talked about baseball. Now we're on football. Now we're on hockey, and he's still on baseball.
Well, you know, you got to get caught up. All right, gentlemen. We'll see you next Tuesday.
But anyway,
next
we all
Friday.
love you, Michael, if
Friday.
you're out there.
Okay.
We'll see you guys next time.
You know,
All
Thank
right.
you for letting me up. Appreciate you.
Take care,
All right.
buddy.
Take care.
Bye.
button. Leave.